think that Kamala Harris could put together a crowd like this? No, no way. We are going to win this by a landslide. USA. Don't you want a president of the United States that is going to defend our Constitution? I'll say one other thing. President Harris said today in her post, in her speech, she said that President Trump was going to turn the U.S. military against the American public and use the public to promote his agenda. How many of you think that is true? Well, what's interesting to me is that the Biden-Harris administration has done something 2 weeks ago that has never been done in American history, which is to send exactly lethal force, to send a directive to the Pentagon, changing the law to make it legal for the U.S. military to use lethal force against American citizens on American soil. Technically, now it's legal for the U.S. military under this directive. It will become legal for the U.S. military to shoot and kill Americans who engage in political protests because they disagree with policies in the White House. I'm not making this up. Any of you can look it up. This is a Democratic initiative. This did not come during the Trump administration. This did not come from Donald Trump. It came from the Democratic Party. And that's why I left the Democratic Party. Don't you want a president of the United States who is going to protect our Constitution? Don't you want a president who's going to end all the foreign forever wars? Don't you want a president who's going to stand up for free speech? Don't you want a president who's going to stand up for the Bill of Rights? And don't you want a president who is going to stand up for the Constitution of the United States in every way? And don't you want a president who has the guts to stand up to the CIA? And don't you want a president who is able to stand up to the military-industrial complex and to BlackRock and to Bill Gates and to State Street and Vanguard and Wall Street and Big Ag and Big Pharma and Big Food?
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants...
Wow, this is a trip. can't believe I'm here. Oh yeah. I have never in my life spoken at a political rally. I've covered a million of them for over 30 years, and I've never spoken at one, never thought I would. And I'm so thrilled. I'm honored to be here. I really am. And I am. It's totally without shame and entirely with gratitude I'm standing here. And I can't believe I just spoke after Bobby Kennedy. It's so cool. So here we are at an enormous Donald Trump rally less than 2 weeks before the presidential election. I'm following Bobby Kennedy Jr. and somewhere in a half-empty Union Hall in a cold state is Dick Cheney's creepy little daughter campaigning with Kamala Harris. And I have to say, that is a thrilling trade as far as I'm concerned. I never thought I would live to see the day when Bobby Kennedy would be one of the most beloved figures in a room full of Republicans, and Mr. Burns from The Simpsons and his criminal daughter would be Democrats. It's just absolutely wonderful. So here's my perspective. I think Donald Trump's going to win, which is amazing. And that's why I'm here. I'm not here because he's going to win. I'm here because I'm so thrilled by what I've watched over the past 9 years. This is the end of a redemption arc. I've really never seen anybody treated like Donald Trump was treated, ever. Anybody, ever. Attack him. I watched this all up close. Defame him. Indict him. Arrest him. Let him get shot in the face. And he's gonna win anyway. Oh. It is a triumph. It's a triumph. The phrase triumph of the human spirit has been turned into a cliche by the people who write movie posters, but it doesn't make it any less real. Donald Trump's victory will be a triumph of the human spirit. It will be a triumph of Americans over the machine that seeks to oppress them. It'll be a middle finger wagging in the face of the worst people in the English-speaking world who are our leaders. It will be a moral victory the size of which I never thought I would live to see. And it's essential. It is so important that that happens for a couple of reasons, and here's what they are. The first is to dissolve for all time, for the world to see, the primary lie about Donald Trump, which is that only freaks and misfits like him. That's a lie. And they've been telling that lie since the second he came down that escalator 9 years ago. If you like that, there's something wrong with you. You're the only person you know who likes that. You're a freak. Be ashamed. Do not talk about Donald Trump in public. Don't wear his dangerous little red hat. And if you're in the media, how dare you speak to him? And that was a lie from day one. It was a big lie. It was January 6th is an insurrection. What? It's the kind of lie that they tell relentlessly. They punish anyone who contradicts the lie because it is so preposterous it can only be upheld through force. And in the last 3 months, we have seen that lie dissolve like the Wicked Witch of the West under a bucket of water. Look around. Is this a room full of freaks and misfits? No, it's not. This is a room full of people who love their country enough to obey its laws, who sincerely believe in its founding precepts, who pay their taxes, who go to work. The ever-shrinking percentage of Americans who work a 40-hour week, who expect nothing from the system, and who have given their lives for the system, who are born in this country and plan to die here. And they're the most mistreated group in this nation, and they're also the biggest group in this nation. They're not some weird subculture of MAGA. They're America itself. And the only people who are denying that are the freaks and the misfits, who it turns out are themselves a tiny, bizarre minority, a cult, who have controlled the rest of us through fear and aggression. And that has ended. And it has ended thanks to the heroic stand that a couple of individuals have taken, first among them Elon Musk. Elon Musk, who single-handedly saved the First Amendment to the Constitution, which, let me remind you, is not just a feature of America, it's the basis of America. It's the First Amendment for a reason. It's what separates the free from the enslaved. Slaves are not allowed to say what they think. Free men have God-given right to do so and will. And this is the only country on earth in which that is guaranteed. And without Elon Musk, it wouldn't be, because he stands alone as the owner of a media platform that is still open. There's only one, and it's X. It's foreign-born Elon Musk. And then for him to come out, and by the way, just for the record, I've taken not $1 from Elon Musk, okay? It's not a paid advertisement, it's just an observation. And this is heartfelt gratitude. And when you see the richest man on planet Earth stand up there in a t-shirt and start jumping around on stage, he's also one of the biggest federal contractors. People say, oh, he's got FU money. No, it's just the opposite. There is no such thing as FU money. The more money you have, the more vested you are. There's only FU poverty, actually, is the truth. And Elon Musk has more to lose than any living American by taking the position that he did, and he did it anyway. And so what's the message? If the person who's created the most, not just piles of cash, he's not Larry Fink, he's not worshiping money like our finance class, he's building things. And if that guy is for Donald Trump, and not only not ashamed of it, he's jumping around in a t-shirt, I can see his belly button, he's so excited, then maybe I'm not alone. Maybe I'm not the freak. Maybe what you're really watching is the tyranny of MSNBC, a channel with virtually no viewers, a channel on which almost every single person has a personal life so grotesquely weird, if you knew the details, you'd call for their arrest. That's just true. And those people, the unhappiest people in this nation, are defining the terms of the conversation? I don't think so. How'd they get away with that? The same way they got away with calling January 6th an insurrection for 3 years, by repeating it and by attacking anyone who disagreed. But it's an illusion. It's the Wizard of Oz. And once you pull back the curtain and the only thing back there is Joe Scarborough, you're like, wait a second. Why am I taking orders from this guy? He's a freak. I'm a normal person. And that realization has settled on this country, on the whole country, and you feel it. People are not afraid anymore, at all. I've got a bunch of kids, I text them, I'm gonna go speak at a Trump rally. My kids, you go. I said, do you have a lot of friends who are voting for Carmela or whatever her name is? No, of course not. That's embarrassing. It has flipped. The story the country tells itself about reality has flipped. None of the normal people are supporting the Democratic machine. Tim Walz is supporting the Democratic machine. A man you would never allow to babysit your own children. That's the archetype. It's the party of weirdos, of envy, of hate, of resentment, of bitterness, of weakness, of a total lack of creativity. It's a party of conformity. It's a party of the machine, where it doesn't matter who the candidate is because individuals are immaterial. All that matters is the collective. That's the Soviet model. And opposing them is the rest of the country, slowly waking up to the fact that these people have no moral authority whatsoever. They have no legitimacy in a democracy where the government must rule by the consent of the governed. They have no consent. And the way that they've treated this country over the past 4 years is the most shocking thing I've ever seen in 55 years. to allow millions of people, mostly young men with no skills and no English, into our country illegally, and then fly them around at our expense and give them phones and put them on welfare programs that no American citizen can get? It is the most insulting, yeah, boo, but it's worse than boo. That's the biggest crime in the history of the United States of America. And it takes incredible stones, incredible gall for the people who did that to stand up there on a stage and give you a lecture about how you're immoral. It's too much. And so that's the second important thing about this election, okay? The first is every person in this room needs to understand you are not in a despised minority. You are in an incredibly gentle and tolerant majority who put up with this crap for way too long. As they insulted not only you, but the memory of your ancestors who died for this country. They tore down statues to their memory. People have never built anything in their lives. They went out of their way to humiliate you and spit on you and the graves of your ancestors. And that's not an exaggeration, they did that. And this country is so nice, it's so polite, it's so thoughtful and empathetic and sweet. It's the kind of country that loves dogs and gives directions to strangers, that we put up with it for 4 years. But we can't anymore. We just can't. And we can't for two reasons. The first reason that we can't put up with it for one more minute is because it's just not justice. It's not justice, it's unfair. You cannot reward the most parasitic, useless, violent, nasty, aggressive people in your country. You can't make them the richest, you just can't. It's just wrong. In a fair, decent country, the people who work the hardest, who have the highest level of talent, who are the most creative, who are the most decent to their neighbors, who give the biggest tips to waitresses, those people should be successful. Those people should be revered. It shouldn't be Larry Fink. Are you joking? Kamala Harris shouldn't have a job. She has no skills. How did we wind up with a system where Kamala Harris, you couldn't change the tire on your truck, much less drive it? How did she wind up at the top of the pyramid? And then once she's there, she lectures you like you did something. It's too much. You can't allow that. It's an offense against the truth, against reality, and against justice itself. And the second reason you can't allow it is very familiar to anyone who has children, which is if you allow it, you will encourage more of it. If you allow people to get away with things that are completely over the top and outrageous, if you allow your 2-year-old to smear the contents of his diapers on the wall of your living room and you do nothing about it, if you allow your 14-year-old to light a joint at the breakfast table, if you allow your hormone-addled 15-year-old daughter to slam the door of her bedroom and give you the finger, you're gonna get more of it. And those kids are gonna wind up in rehab. It's not good for you and it's not good for them. No. There has to be a point at which dad comes home. Yeah, that's right. Dad comes home. And he's pissed. Dad is pissed. He's not vengeful. He loves his children. Disobedient as they may be, he loves them. Because they're his children, they live in his house. But he's very disappointed in their behavior. And he's gonna have to let them know. He's gonna have to get to your room right now and think about what you did. And when dad gets home, you know what he says? You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. And no, it's not gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. No, it's not. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. And you earned this. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl. And it has to be this way. It has to be this way because it's true. And you're only going to get better when you take responsibility for what you did. That's not said in the spirit of hate. It's not said in the spirit of vengeance or bigotry. Far from it. It's said in the spirit of justice, which is the purest and best thing there is. And without it, things fall apart. The Democratic Party machine, and notice I'm not beating up on Kamala Harris, who's just a hapless victim who happened to be there in the right color, so they grabbed her. Tim Walz, they needed some, whatever Tim Walz is. They needed a weak man, because it is the party of weak men and unhappy women. One of which leads to the other, by the way. Where you find weak men, you will inevitably find unhappy women. Sorry. And they make them on purpose. They weaken the men to drive the women insane, to have the most consistent voting bloc ever in the history of politics. Unhappy women, made unhappy by weak men. But it could be anybody. It could be anybody. Kamala Harris is just a stand-in. She's a cardboard cutout. She has a soul, God created her, I'm not attacking her humanity. But there's nothing there, it doesn't matter. If it wasn't Kamala Harris, it would be, I don't know, Pete Buttigieg or whatever, who are these people? It doesn't matter. They're the cutouts. They work for the machine. They're totally dispensable, they're replaceable. And they need to have limits set for them. And so on election day, and I sincerely believe Donald Trump's going to win. And if I thought he was going to lose, I'd be here anyway, by the way. I would. In fact, I would have been here earlier if I thought he was going to lose, just to make the point. I mean it. I don't like people who jump on the winning train, okay? I think Donald Trump's going to win. And not only do I think Donald Trump's going to win, I think that the vibe shift has been so profound. I mean, the numbers suggest he's going to win. He's ahead in all 7 battleground states. But much more important, and the early voting seems to be favoring him. But more important even than the conventional political markers is what you smell around you. And it's the return of freedom. It's the return of the country you grew up in, where you could say things like, I like that guy, and maybe you like the other person, that's fine. That was not allowed for 9 years. And it's allowed now. And I think, and it's because of what they did, by the way, they deserve this. But I think the vibe is so strong right now, I don't think we can get away with pretending something else happened. I don't think we can have another 2020 at this point. I just don't. I don't. Some woman who grew up in Montreal, Canada is lecturing me about America. Okay. I don't think they can do that, because I don't think people are going to sit back and take it. I don't. It's enough. It's enough. That's the point at which you say, no, I'm sorry. I put up with this crap for a long time. I indulge your little fantasy. It's like when your teenage girl becomes a vegetarian, you're like, okay, that's, okay, it's fine. No, I totally understand. You're like, it's a phase. But if that phase goes on for 9 years and includes destroying your major cities and allowing your country to be invaded by millions of foreigners whose identities you don't know and whose purpose in this country is unclear, by the way, why shouldn't we feel threatened by that? If they go out of their way to crush families, to make it impossible for your kids to buy a house, getting involved in the sex lives of your children, which they are, if they do all of that, they need to lose. And at the end of all of it, when they tell you they've won, no. You can look them straight in the face and say, I'm sorry, Dad's home, and he's pissed. Thank you.
Yikes. Yikes. That's all I can see. So welcome to a different show tonight, obviously. Jumped in it early because RFK Jr. was speaking. And then Tucker just came in with a flamethrower and just burned down everything Democratic. Something tells me we're not in Kansas anymore, kids. Something tells me that this is going to be quite the different evening. If RFK Jr. and Tucker came out firing like that, I can't imagine what Trump's going to come out and say. Charlie Kirk has just stepped up to the mic.
I'll tell you, this is a historic moment, everybody. By the way, have you been seeing the early voting numbers out of this state? Who here has voted already? Raise your hand if you voted already. Look at that. You are living through a once-in-a-generation realignment, everybody, where it is no longer Republican versus Democrat. It's no longer the traditional dividing lines of a generation prior. You've seen tonight something remarkable. You saw two people who ran for president of the United States as a Democrat, endorse Donald Trump, and be here as our movement accepts them warmly. You see, they say Donald Trump is the best at deals the world has ever seen. And just look at this deal. We get Tulsi Gabbard and Bobby Kennedy, they get Liz Cheney. Not bad. We get Elon Musk, they get Adam Kinzinger. You can have them. You can have the warmongers of a generation prior while we diversify, deepen, and strengthen our movement to include people that otherwise would never have been part of the Republican Party. Who here is a former Democrat? Raise your hand. Look at that. And by the way, you are all welcome in our movement because the Democrat Party left you a long time ago. As many of you know, I visit college campuses so you don't have to. Just yesterday, we were on the campus of University of Georgia. Some dog fans here? Now, I'm gonna get a text message from Ted Cruz, but good job, guys, last weekend. That's all I'm gonna say. It was so amazing. Off to the side, there was this sad, pathetic display of misfits of 5 people at the Harris Walls table. And just feet away, we had 5,000 students attend our event at the University of Georgia. 5,000 students. In fact, the Democrats are so confused at what is going on. Never before has conservatism, the ideas of freedom, liberty, American exceptionalism been so popular on these college campuses. You see, they're feeling what you're feeling, but even more so. This is the most depressed, sick, medicated, anxious generation in history. They are the first generation since George Washington to have their life and their standard of living worse off than their parents. This is a broken social contract, and how many of you feel as if the DC political class has forgotten you? The college students that I'm talking to, when they hear Kamala Harris continue on her diatribe of nothing, they recognize and realize that the DC political elite has failed them for one exception. That there were new wars under Bush and new wars under Obama and new wars under Biden, but for 4 years there were no new wars. And that for the last 4 years people have been getting poor. In Atlanta, in order to buy a home when Donald Trump was president, you needed to make $75,000 a year. Now it requires $135,000 a year, and interest rates are near 10%. And understand, this is intentional. They're trying to create a nation of renters because when you rent, they can control you. When you own property, you're a free citizen and they can't tell you what to do. In order to create more conservatives and more people who love the country, you need to have the 3 M's. Young people need to get married, they need to mate, and get a mortgage. The 3 M's are 3 things the Democrat Party is against. They do not celebrate marriage. They certainly do not celebrate having children. They had an abortion truck at their national convention, and they're making it harder than ever to buy a home. Donald Trump is running on a once-in-a-generation campaign to revitalize the American dream for a generation that has been mortgaged by the DC political class over the last 50 years. And where we are right now in Georgia will determine the future of America. You see, we are doing exceedingly well with early voting right now. And this is a very important distinction. Election day is the last day of voting. We have 12 days of voting left in this state. We have days of voting still to remain. So for those of you that have already voted, you need to go find a low propensity voter, someone that is a little shaky about voting, and get them out to the polls. You have 12 days to outwork the Democrats, and that is my main message to you here. Do you really think, after they try to put Donald Trump in prison for 700 years, they've tried to assassinate him a couple times, impeach him a couple times, that they're gonna roll over in the next 12 days? You think they're gonna hand us the keys to the White House? What Tucker said is correct. The early voting numbers are good. The voter registration numbers are good. We draw crowds 10 times, 100 times bigger than them. But you're trying to tell me that John Brennan and James Comey and Clapper and Susan Rice and Barack Obama are just gonna say, you know what, we're 12 days out. Go have the White House, MAGA. No. Instead, you must be on guard. In fact, you must be vigilant that these people are gonna try something in a panic despair, the likes of which we've never seen, because they know that their time is running out. They know the American people are ascendant and that their time will soon come on November 5th. So what does that mean? And you could smell it in the air. You could smell the panic. You can smell the desperation. You could smell the disgust of what they see coming forward. And the thing that scares them and terrifies them more than anything else, is that we not just vote, but we get new people to go vote, and we chase every single voter in this state and in Arizona and in Nevada and Pennsylvania and North Carolina and Wisconsin and Michigan. You see, you're going to be able to tell your kids and your grandkids about this moment. You're going to be able to tell them about the moment that you were in Georgia and the entire country was put in jeopardy. You are going to be able to tell them about when the Constitution was put in suspense. And that is why this election feels bigger than any other election that we lived through. Because it's not just the typical corporate tax rate debate that we have enjoyed. Instead, it is so much bigger. It is civilizational defining. And you need to go to every single person you know and say, are you voting for Trump? I don't know if I'm gonna vote. And you have to repeat this. You say, no new wars, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, largest deportation effort ever, drill baby drill, gas prices low, restoration of the Constitution, Supreme Court justices we can trust, and an end to the lawfare. Those 10 things you tell every swing voter you know in this state, and you commit it to memory. And it's going to require a citizen force, because these next 12 days will define the future of our republic. And that is why you are here. That is why you waited hours and hours and hours to get into here. And that is exactly what we're doing at Turning Point Action, to register new voters in states that are still registering voters, like Michigan, and same-day registration. And as I travel the country, and I'm doing this on college campuses, I can feel a surge, the likes of which was even greater than 2020, the likes of which that was even greater than 2016. It is a citizen-led movement, and let's just remember what we have been through, everybody. The forces of darkness have tried everything they possibly can. And what does success look like? It looks like, no matter what you throw at this movement, no matter how much you tar and feather us, smear, slander, call us names, cancel us, you call us a racist, or you try to put our candidate in jail, that we understand that this is a different type of divide. This is the citizens of a country who we own the country, not them. We own the country, not them. We're in charge, not you. You work for us. And we are going to send a message. And Donald Trump is a metaphorical, you hear that, media? A metaphorical Tomahawk missile against the DC ruling regime to send them a reminder, we're in charge, you're not, we're the boss, you're not. You see, the media, they're starting to really get upset and say, why is it that people are still voting Trump after all these things? It's because of all these things that we're still voting for Trump. Because I look at a man who refuses to give up. They say, well, is this someone that you want your kids to grow up and to look up to? I say, yes, I'm gonna tell my son that in the line of fire, that if you ever think as if things could ever get dark and you rise and you say, fight, 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 I want my son to be like that one day. I want my kids to look up to a president that even though they take his business empire away and he's facing 7 lifetimes in prison, he keeps on fighting for you, where he has nothing to gain and everything to lose to get into the arena. There has never been a candidate in modern American history that has lost so much for something that did not benefit him, but instead put you in the room. And that is why they are so anxious and nervous. I want you to understand what's going on here. Right now, they are popping pills at Pfizer that Bobby Kennedy might run the FDA and the CDC, everybody. Right now, the warmongers in DC are shaking, they're trembling like a leaf that Tulsi Gabbard might go in and expose the fraud of us sending $200 billion to Ukraine while our border remains wide open. The government gangsters, as Kash Patel would put it, that have robbed us blind, they're starting to get really nervous saying, is Elon Musk really going to come in and look at our budgets? Oh, you better believe Elon Musk is going to come in and look at your budgets. The Department of Government Efficiency czar. And what a combo team, everybody. It is from people that have gained so much in the system and a bottom up. And the only people supporting Kamala Harris are the ones that are happy robbing more from you and covering up for their crimes. Let me say that again. The only people supporting Kamala Harris are comfortable robbing more from you and covering up for your crimes. For 50 years, this part of America has grown poorer while the kingdom of Washington, D.C. has grown infinitely richer. The wealthiest counties in America are all centered around Washington, D.C. And the heartland of this country and the industrial base of this country, where the muscular class built this country, have seen their jobs shipped over to China, and we got a bunch of opioids in return and piles of plastic and deteriorated neighborhoods that we no longer recognize. And in a series of events that only God could orchestrate, in a series of events that only our divine Father could put together, the most unusual set of circumstances is that a billionaire from New York had to get in the arena to tell the other billionaires that have been robbing you, the game is over, you're fired, and the American people are back in charge again. I will close with this. We are here in a state that is a very Christian state, a state that loves God and loves Jesus. If there was my biggest concern of this election, it is the faithful, it is the pastors that are not engaging right now in this election. We have 12 days left, and you need to lovingly challenge pastors that are silent that you have a biblical obligation to engage in this election, that you have a biblical obligation to fight evil and to exalt righteousness. For one other reason, no other reason than 320,000 missing kids on our southern border right now, which is modern day slavery, and Donald Trump will put an end to it. Donald Trump is the most pro-life president in American history, as he was responsible for the reversal of Roe versus Wade, moved the embassy to Jerusalem, and more than anything else, everybody is on the other side. The Democrat Party supports everything that God hates. The Democrat Party is espousing the death of the unborn, the mutilation of our teenage kids, open borders, the destruction of our sovereignty, the elimination of our currency status. I believe there is a spiritual battle happening around all of us, but don't expect a spiritual victory if our own pastors do not engage. Right now, this state is a Christian state. I want to see that to continue. But we need the faithful. We need those of you that have influence over your congregation to put pressure on your pastors. And those, if you're a pastor watching this right now, I hope this touches you. I hope you, and I'm looking right in the camera right now, I hope you give a Sunday sermon and you talk about how the Democrat Party believes everything that God hates. I hope you tell your congregation how to biblically vote. I hope you challenge them and tell them to get in the arena. Because everybody, we have 12 days of voting left. This state will determine the future of America. Go vote now. Fight evil. Get in the arena. And if we do that, on November 5th, we'll be looking at that beautiful CNN clip. Donald Trump elected the 47th president of the United States. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Yo, well, this isn't your grandma's rally, that's for sure. Haven't seen this kind of fire. Whew. So I think we missed Tulsi, or rather, I missed Tulsi. Tulsi and RFK Jr. and Tucker and now Charlie Kirk. I don't even know who they can else be bringing up next. Maybe Vivek, maybe, who knows? Who knows? Maybe Eric Jr. Eric, and then maybe Don. I haven't seen Don Jr. talk in a bit. But, man, this is a packed lineup of people who are bringing nothing but fire tonight. I think that little stunt that Kamala pulled this afternoon by calling Trump Adolf may have backfired. She may have asked for more than she could have bargained for. Like I said earlier, that campaign is over. What they're going to do next, I don't know. Something tells me they're going to try something very bad. Very, very bad. Very dangerous. Who knows what they will try? She's done. It's over. It's you can see it. Look at this arena when I put it back on. Hold on. Let me go ahead and, because they're playing music, let me cut to this arena. All right, so look at that. Look at that. There must be 20,000 plus people lined up, not lined up, but seated in this arena. And she doesn't get these kind of crowds. Nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it. And so far, the speakers that we have heard have just been phenomenal. Just pure fire. I mean, I had to jump in impromptu. Some people missed me. I started a little bit early because I'm like, oh my God, this is not like a normal rally. This just isn't Trump by himself. He brought some serious firepower with him tonight. So they look like they're pausing a little bit, maybe getting ready for Trump at this point. But that was, I never seen nothing like it. Nothing like it. And I'm not going to look at any more polls. I don't care. I don't care about poly market. Here's what I do know. Over the next 12 days, they are going to do some crazy stuff. The media, they're going to go nuts and say whatever they can possibly say. Don't know who they think they're going to influence. It's over. But they're going to do some crazy stuff. Oh, it's fascist, Hitler, blah, 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 blah. And they're probably going to trot out another 4 women that say that Trump touched me inappropriately. And they're probably going to get some former employees that say something. They're going to try everything. It doesn't matter. We don't care. We don't care. We understand this is what you think you're going to do. Meanwhile, what Trump is doing, obvious as you see tonight, he's bringing fire. Absolute fire. 2 rallies per day for the next couple of days, except for Friday. It's 1 rally and then a visit with Joe Rogan. So that's going to be absolutely huge. Nobody's paying attention to her. I mean, literally, she's done. She comes out and reads that statement about Trump being Hitlerian, turns around and walks back inside after, 2.5 minutes? That's it? That's the entire exposure of your day. And you're running for president. Ain't gonna cut it, girlie. Ain't gonna cut it. Not with the fire that Trump is bringing right now. Who's your daddy? I loved how that analogy that Tucker said. Daddy's home, and he's pissed. Perfect. I can just see that image. Daddy's home, and he's pissed. You've been stealing from the American people for so long. You think that's what you're supposed to do. You think that's how things are supposed to run. You've convinced the idiots on the left that that's okay. You're going to eat the bugs and live in a pod. You're going to own nothing and be happy. They actually, think about that for a second. For a ideology to actually put that out there. They didn't hide it. It wasn't spoken in closed doors. They put it out there as a campaign. You will own nothing and be happy. What kind of a zombie would you have to be to go, I will own nothing, I'll be happy. I will own nothing, I'll be happy. You didn't know that they were going to turn the Matrix into real life and just make you just think you're going to live in this pod and eat bugs. Because we're not going to allow you to have meat. And we're not going to allow boats to go fishing, so we got a lot of crickets for you. Chocolate-covered crickets. Oh, no, can't have chocolate. Too sweet for you. These people are absolutely effing crazy. And it's fun. I love what Tucker said, because now, with all the stuff I have to deal with here, and the only place that you can talk is where Elon Musk is, and you can see how quickly they went after him. And they even went after the McDonald's where Trump worked. They said all these stories out there about, they fed E. coli to people, or they didn't wash their hands. And I'm like, really? Really? Is that how petty you are? Just shut down anybody that has any adversarial thoughts against the Democrat Party. You just want to shut them down. You want to shut them up. And the only reason they can do that is because they got used to it. It got comfortable telling people, nope, you can't be on Twitter, you can't be on Facebook, you can't be on YouTube, you all need to shut up. And it got comfortable. They accepted it as reality. And right now, people are saying, like Tucker said, it's time to give them the middle finger, theoretically. And figuratively. That's how I think. Why show that empty space? What empty space? Huh? I don't know what you meant. Exactly, Barry. They have been so crooked for so long. They don't know. Understand was it Charlie who said it? Yeah, I think it was Charlie. That the richest, basically, zip code area in the country is right around Washington, D.C. How can that possibly be? With people who are supposed to be civil servants, who are supposed to be working for us, are the richest people in the country, per se. I'm sure the Hamptons would have something to say about that. I'm sure, Malibu would have something to say like that. But for the most part, the largest concentration is right around the Beltway. Does it make any sense to you? How could somebody, and you've heard her talk, how could somebody like Nancy Pelosi be worth $200 million? How could Kamala be worth $15 million? How could AOC be worth millions? There's only one answer to that question. They've got extremely comfortable stealing your money. They've got extremely comfortable finding a way not to do what they're saying they should do to you. You think that Nancy Pelosi is paying 40 or 50% of her income to the IRS? And nobody checking it either. You think that, Bernie is paying 40, 50, 60% of his money to the IRS? You remember those dirty millionaires until he became a millionaire and he couldn't say anymore, so he started saying billionaires. That's about it. Think he's paying that kind of money? Think he's okay with unrealized capital gains? You think that, what's her name, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, you think she's okay with unrealized capital gains? She's been buying and selling real estate for quite some time. They're not even worried about it. It doesn't apply to us. Nobody's going to check. Nobody's going to come look at Elizabeth Warren's bank statements and what kind of transactions she's going to be doing. That's only for you Trump supporters, you Republicans. They've been getting away with it for so long. To them, it's just regular activity. We make money, we probably don't pay taxes, and we do whatever we want, and you people can suck it. Just keep sucking it, because that's who we are. Notice they never, ever, ever, ever talk about their charitable contributions and what they're doing to help people. Never see it. Hey, show us your tax returns. No, I don't even know if they even file. Who would even know? Again, they're not going to go after them, so you don't know. How is Nancy Pelosi so good at picking stocks? Better than, most Wall Street traders, but somehow she's able to make all kinds of money. Same thing with Mitch. It's been a game. It's been a game for so long, and now all these people who have made millions, tens of millions, possibly hundreds of millions, are seeing somebody who knows their game because he told Hillary in his first debate, I know what you're doing because your laws allow me to do the same damn thing. He straight up said it. And you won't change. And what did he further go? He goes, and you won't change them because you like it. So now all of a sudden Trump's coming in, and I'm telling you, maybe tonight would be the best night for it. I'm really feeling like he's about to drop a hammer on taxes. No taxes on tips. That's pretty cool. No tax on overtime. That's cool. No tax on Social Security. Wow, that's really cool. No tax on car loans, or rather you can write off car loans. Cool. I'm waiting for him to say it. You know what? No tax for the firefighters and police and first responders. Okay, that's really good. Well, the hell with it. No tax. I would love for him to say within 18 months, we're going to get rid of the IRS. We're not going to tax anybody. We're just going to go to a sales tax, a flat sales tax across the country. Here's how much it's going to generate, and I'm going to generate the rest here with tariffs, and we're all going to be happy. And we're all going to get to keep every dime except for sales tax that you bring in. Yeah, that's why they would be scrambling to hit teams at that point. Yeah, that's another thing. I heard if Trump wins, that list, which we can't speak of, would be coming out. I hope it does. Damn. I hope that and Kennedy takes care of the Kennedy stuff. We have too many secrets. And the people keeping the secrets aren't keeping secrets because it's in our best interest. It's in their best interest. Remember, I don't know how long ago it was. It might have been 20 years ago. Some of you may be too young to remember this. Do you remember the check writing scandal? I think it was in the 80s. I didn't know. Most of us never knew there was a bank for Congress and that they could just go ahead and write checks that would bounce. And it didn't matter. The bank would just cover the bounce checks. And people were just all over Washington just writing checks and on this congressional bank, bouncing checks. And it was no big deal. I don't know if you remember that. I remember thinking, looking and going, wait a second. So they're just writing checks knowing they don't have the money and then expect the taxpayers to pay for it? Yes. Whew. Good job if you can get it, huh? And then, of course, from what I understood, thousands of sexual harassment cases that were settled through Congress, who doesn't have any money except for yours, and they settled all these lawsuits, and not one person was ever revealed as being, the guy or woman who did it. They've been laughing at us for decades. They've been laughing at us and telling us to suck it for decades, if not longer. As George Carlin so aptly said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. And now, all of a sudden, you've got this guy. Daddy's coming home, and he's pissed as hell. And he knows where the bodies are buried. He knows the secrets. And what secrets he doesn't know, some other people do, like RFK Jr. He knows where the secrets are. I can't even fathom the secrets we don't even hear about. The stuff that we don't know that they're like, okay, here's one for you. And we were like, oh my God, that happened? Yeah, that happened too. And here's some more stuff for you to look at. Stuff that you and I would go to jail for, and these people have just been operating like it's some governmental privilege. They can do whatever they want, anytime they want, and nobody is going to... And this is both sides. Oh, don't get me wrong. This isn't just Democrats. There's a lot of Republicans right now who've got tight sphincters. They're squeezing up down there. Ooh, if Trump comes, let me retire real quick. I don't want that. Oh, I'm just going to sneak out of here like I got, bad diarrhea. Evil went on both sides. It wasn't a one size fits all type thing. Is what it is. The Washington Generals, I don't know if you guys know about the Harlem Globetrotters, but the Washington Generals was the team, usually a bunch of lame white guys, that had to play against the Harlem Globetrotters. Their only existence was there to be ridiculed and beat. They had no other existence. Just go out there and let us do all kinds of stuff. While we're doing that, you guys will get paid handsomely just to be, props. I have long said that most of the Republican Party has been the Washington Generals. They are just there to be props so the Democrats can do whatever they want. And then they get paid handsomely. Here's some money. Now go back to your hovel. And meanwhile, they take it, and they learn how the game is played, and they don't make any bones about it. And then they stay there for 50 years, 40 years, 30, no term limits. We'll stay here until we croak. We're making a ton of money, but you're not doing anything for the people. It's not about that. When's the last Republican congressperson or senator that you know that has been truly on fire for changing all the stuff that you see go on right now? How did Donald Trump be the one to come up with taxes on tips? No taxes on tips. How did Donald Trump be the one to say, we're not going to tax overtime? You're telling me 50 Republican senators and 200 or so reps, not one of them has said in the last, 50 years, you know what? How about no taxes on tips? Oh, can we get that passed? Let's see. Nope, not a word. How about no tax on Social Security? Nope, not a word. Why is that? That's the answer to that question, is what they're terrified of, and deservedly so. I mean, if you imagine people like Tucker and Tulsi and Elon Musk coming in with Donald Trump to basically, and RFK Jr. to basically rip through this government and say, we're changing it all. This cesspool needs to be cleaned. It's no longer a swamp. It's a cesspool. It's a dirty, toxic waste dump of putrid women and men who have done nothing but sold out America. And now it's time to just flush these people. And at this point, let God sort it out. So if you're worried about going to jail, if you're a congressperson or a senator on either side of the aisle and you've done some funky stuff, or you flew over to an island and partaked in, one of the 325,000, you need to be exposed. Yeah, at this point, it's beyond the capacity for her to win. So it is going to be too big to rig. Now we just have to wonder what in hell they are going to do. I mean, it's very suck us right in, very compelling. That's just what I've been feeling, man. I've been feeling it the whole time. Yeah, Elon has all the XDM messages. Yeah, all that stuff. Wow, this arena holds 35,000 for concerts. Don't forget about this. Yeah, Steve Bannon comes walking out of prison on Tuesday. You don't think he's coming in just as Trump is pulling back, because Trump's got that Madison Square Garden rally, and then he's gonna pull back for a little bit. You don't think Steve Bannon's gonna come out firing on all cylinders? I mean, the guy's probably been in there doing sit-ups and push-ups, gonna come out all buff and just be able to rip some Democrat ass. Barry, the cesspool needs to be drained. They have stolen all of our money. That's how they get rich. All of our. It is so, like I said, it's so nasty that these people have done this to America for so long. You remember what they say, and I think it's even worse than that, when they say 50 or 60% of people don't pay any income tax, and the other 35 to 50 pay all of it. Well, I wonder how many senators and Congress people are in that 50 to 60% that don't pay anything. How about no more property taxes? Like I said yesterday, from being in real estate, I know there has to be some property taxes to pay for goods. For services, your water, your garbage, your fire, your response, your ambulance, your all your first responders, and of course, your police coverage. But that's where people even on a local level need to start digging in and looking at budgets and seeing where money's going. Absolutely. I think you're right, Barry, about Bannon. Oh, he's coming out firing. I'm telling you right now, they poked the bear. He did his time, and now he's coming out, and there will be no holds barred with him. He is going to just be a Tasmanian devil against these people. They won't be able to shut him up. I mean, at this point, the war room will fire back up. I wouldn't doubt if he goes on for like 24 hours a day at some point here. Carol says we've been slaves. Pretty much. Pretty much. What constitutes treason? There's a lot that constitute treason. The thing is, nobody, not on the right or on the left, have done anything about it. Yeah, we got to take the House and the Senate as well. Lindsey Graham. Oh, that guy. That guy. Nope, nobody on stage yet, so they must be setting it for Trump. Lindsey Graham's a sad excuse. Sad excuse. Bannon will hit the ground running. Yep. Nobody on stage yet, Caleb. Still looking. All they're doing is, well, there's people on stage, but they're sound techs and stuff. The techies are all running around checking microphones and stuff like tech, two. You've seen them at concerts. They're all running around back there. You can't stop all taxes. We do need some tax to pay for certain things. I didn't say stop all taxes. I said no income tax. The taxes would become based upon consumption. That way it's completely equitable. If there was a flat 10% sales tax in the entire country, 10% sales tax, I can't even, I'm not an economist, I don't know how much money that would bring in. However, the other economists will say there's no way we can do it because we go into debt. No. When you in your own home decide that you're going to go on a budget, you don't go into debt because you don't overspend what you have. See, these economists always look at the programs that the government has and go, oh, you can't touch those. Oh, you can't, none of these you can't touch. You can't reduce any of this. One of the things, if you notice what Kamala Harris actually said today was he wants to do away with the Department of Education. Of all the stuff that you're upset about, why does that upset you so much? Well, let's see. If you looked at the federal budget and how much goes into education, and then you wonder, you don't have to wonder, you can see them always supporting the Democrats, and they all donate back to the Democrats. What you're looking at is probably one of the most ultimate money laundering schemes in existence. Hey, we're going to support education. Here, let's put like $20 billion in here. Oh, and the teachers' unions all say let's go ahead and donate back to the Democrats. And Randy Weingarten, who's been the president of the Teachers Association, it's just one big loop. If you cut that loop, none of that money flowing backwards. Their influence goes away. And as I said, I believe yesterday or the day before, one of the ways I know that for a fact that it works, that you could cut those income taxes, because many of you don't realize that Florida has no state income tax. No state, doesn't matter how much you make, there is no state income tax in Florida. So how in the hell is this state even afloat and doing well? Well, we have a state sales tax that none of us complain about. We all know, hey, listen, I don't even know what it is. I think it might be 6 or 7% right now. And we pay that when we buy something. If you don't buy anything, you don't pay for it. But it's going to hurt the poor people. Why? They're already paying it. There's no taxes. Well, let me just look it up so I can be direct with you. Sales tax in Florida. Florida sales tax is 6% on everything. I mean, there's some breaks here and there, and then they do different deals in September for back to school and all that stuff. But it's 6%. So if one of the biggest states in the country, what are we, number 4 or 5 behind California, New York, and Texas maybe? What if one of the biggest states in the country can exist and prosper with no income tax, tell me why it doesn't work. I'll wait. No income tax down here. A lot of people don't know that. But it's funded with sales tax and then a hotel tax for the tourists and things of that nature. But no sales tax. Not at all. All right, so I just looked up. It said 6%. Unless they lowered it. Yeah, it's 6%. I'm on the Department of Revenue. It says is Florida. Okay, here it is. Florida has a 6% sales tax and an average combined state and local sales tax rate of 7%. Florida has a 0.71% effective property tax rate on owner-occupied properties. All right, so 6.7 if you add the other taxes, or say 7. So when people say, "Oh, it can never be done," I'm like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm living in a state that does it. It's a perfect model. Why couldn't it work in the smaller states?" And the Democrats don't even want to have that discussion. I mean, and when people say stuff like that, and they say, "Well, it could never work. We need some taxes." I'm like, "No, what? No, we'd be fine. Go ahead and buy your bag of Cheetos if you want, and you're going to pay 6 or 7% on it, whatever it is." But other than that, yeah, no tax in Delaware. So a lot of people don't know that there's different states in the union that don't have income tax, and it's kind of hard. If watch football or anything, and you watch when players get traded or the free agents, and one of the things people always say is, "Oh, he's going to go play for the Jets in New York, but it's a heavy sales tax, and so you have to up the income so that the guy can net the same, because in New York you pay your federal, and then you got to pay your state, and then you got to pay your city," which I think is like it just keeps taxing you all the way down. Income tax is supposed to only be for federally connected earnings, whether it's a job, a contract, property use. It's not for private earnings as they're now using it. Yep, absolutely. How big is this rally? Man, I gotta say 20+ thousand seated. I don't even know how many people they got on the floor. I'm paying that in Illinois plus all the other crazy taxes, right? Texas, no income taxes in Texas. It's crazy. Somebody said, "Isn't that from the lottery?" Let's see here. Connecticut. I used to live in Connecticut. Yep. Connecticut. They need what they call revenue, which is not revenue. It's a tax. But they try to use the word revenue so it doesn't piss people off. Because I'm like, we need to increase revenue. You're not a company. You're not generating anything. You're taking from people. And then when you take from people, you look over here and say, "What can I spend it on?" And then that's where the problem is that all this laundry list of crap that you have here, nobody ever has the cojones to step in and go, "Nope, nope, nope." Those of you who follow world politics and world economy, you have to look no further than what Javier Milei is doing in Argentina, where he walked in and went, "Nope, nope, 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 nope," and cut all that stuff. And now the country is becoming much, much more solvent, much quicker. It's not hard to do. You just have to have the balls to do it. And our government, both sides are in on it, and so they don't do it. Put it this way, what's the worst that could happen? Taxes were never supposed to be an ongoing thing. Nope. Hey, Amy is at the rally. She says, "We are all waiting for Trump. This rally is awesome." Oh, Amy, have a great time. We're watching here, and it looks like it's pure fire. Yes, we have property taxes here. And Kamala wants to raise it. Wants to raise your taxes and give it away to other people. You got it. We got to give it to them, because we all, start this race at different places, and we need to end up at the same place. And some people didn't start in the same place, so we need to make sure that it's okay for them to shut up. That communist crap. You never own your own house because you are taxed forever. I'm pretty sure there's this thing called equity. You own your house. We literally had a war over a 2% tax, and now she wants to raise it to all kinds of numbers. Yes, tourism helps quite a bit here in Florida. Absolutely. I heard. Hey Barry, I heard early today an elderly man scream, "Jesus is the Lord." Absolutely, that's awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah, they don't call her the tax queen for no reason. All right, so a lot of people have asked me this. So here's what I'm looking at in terms of the Joe Rogan thing on Friday. First thing, they're taping it Friday. They have not released when it's going to be aired. That's number one. Number two, if he's going to be releasing it on X versus on Spotify. So I don't know if Spotify is releasing Rogan and letting him do this as a separate event, or is he going to do it on Spotify? If he does it on Spotify, are Spotify letting other people cover it? If Spotify says, no, this is ours, we don't want anyone else to see it other than here, then no, I won't be able to, because they will basically put a copyright on it and say we're not allowing anybody to show it. However, getting around that, I would gladly do it on X, because X, for some reason, they don't have the same rules as some of these other platforms. So there's a couple things we're waiting to find out. One, A, when is it going to be released? B, is it a Joe Rogan and Trump sit down, or is it a Spotify event? And if it's a Spotify event, are they allowing other people to cover it? So no details as of yet have been released. As soon as I know, I will tell you. Florida has a huge property tax. No, that's not true. It's called per mill. And I don't want to go all the way through that. Per mill is based upon a certain rate, based upon the value of the property and where it is and stuff like that. If it's on YouTube, you just can't grab. It's hard to get into, but if it's being shown on YouTube, you just can't grab a YouTube feed and show it on another channel. So that wouldn't work. It would have to be a off-platform feed that people are allowing you to tap into. What about live Junior podcast? Junior who? Not really sure. JR. Who's JR? Joe Rogan. Oh. Well, if it's, like I said, I just explained it. If it's live we know it's not live. All right, let me take that back. It's not live. They are indeed taping it. Excuse me. So they're taping it, and when they drop it, I'm not sure. So it's not live. People say, I don't know who's telling you this, you guys, this stuff. It will not be a live event. It's not. Okay, it's going to be taped. Joe Rogan, well, I mean, I wouldn't say that about Rogan, because here's the problem. He got paid a Titanic-size bank. I mean, he got paid big time, something like $120 million to broadcast on Spotify. And Spotify then controls the content. I don't have a problem with that. He took the check. You play by the rules. What I'm saying is, I don't know if this piece of content that he will be producing, whether it falls under the auspices of a Spotify event. And if it does, then it is what it is. So, like I said, there's a lot of stuff to work through in 2 days. We'll see what happens. What else we got? Elon should release the Pelosi tax returns when he gets in the administration. I don't know if you just can't willy-nilly start releasing people's tax returns. So I don't think that would be the thing to happen. We don't want to be like them when they leak stuff about Trump and everything else. He's stupid then. When's he going to drop it? After the election? No, it might be that day, but, in any event, it's not going to be live. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It looks like 87,000 IRS agents in 19 years, taxpayers will be paying retirement for them. I don't know what all these kind of poison pills that they're putting in place to make sure that certain people can't get fired. It's crazy. I think it will be on Spotify. Well, I can't speculate. All I just tell you is everything I just know. If it's on his Spotify show, then it is what it is. Live in Nevada, no income tax there. Buy your car in Oregon, no sales tax, and drive it over. Okay, that's pretty good. They work at lawyers. Lawyers will work it out, but Trump will air it. Trump will air it. Behind the scenes, there may be all kinds of contractual things that they're working on, where they're saying you have the rights, meaning Trump, and he can put it out. We'll see. That's all I can say right now is we'll see where it ends up and how it comes out. If I have the ability to show it, I will, of course, show it in its entirety. Has Spotify ever done a live event? I've never even. No, I don't know. I don't have Spotify. I still listen to. You know what's funny? I still listen to the same music that I downloaded from Napster nearly 20 years ago. I think I told the story when Napster was around. My wife, myself, my business partner at the time, we were just clicking that button and downloading songs because I don't like none of this new music. It all sucks. It all absolutely sucks to me. So I don't know what's on Spotify and what isn't. Barry, do you think there's any chance that Trump might have filmed it already with Rogan and they will air it on Friday? Possibly. Yeah, well, let me see this. Tonight he's in Georgia. I think, looking at his schedule, that he's going to film it probably Friday morning. If I look at his schedule, there's nothing on the schedule Friday until, let me pull this up. His schedule right now, he's got 2 events per day. Just to give you guys an update, tomorrow's Thursday, and he's going to be in Arizona. He's going to be in Vegas later that night. Then he's going to be in Michigan Friday night. So on the 25th, the day that they're taping, he's going to be in Michigan, and so it's likely that they could tape it on Friday morning or something. I don't know where Rogan's studios are. That could be something else. Are they going to do it on location? Yes. Lots of Pink Floyd. Heather Martin says, "Hey Barry, I'm at the rally and it's a blast." It looks like it. It looks like it's absolutely crazy. Now we're waiting for Trump to come on. It's 7:40. I hate that there's such a lag here because Tucker and Charlie and RFK Jr. set the stage and it was going absolutely nuts. And now people are down a little. But something tells me Trump's going to bring the fire today. Voters are lining up. He canceled everything to do JR. All right, so we'll see. We'll see. Don't sweat it. Either way, you're going to see it. I'm sure it'll be the most shared thing ever. It'll be all over the place. You guys have any reservations on if Rogan is going to go after him? Is it possible that Rogan could throw a curveball at him? I don't know. People have been saying that too. What you say here? Minxie says, me too. I still have my CDs from Kazaa from dial-up. Last time I owned a computer was back in 2003. Windows 98 AOL. Kazaa. Yep, Kazaa. I remember them too. I mean, it was amazing downloading it. We would sit around and like, hey, oh, that song. Oh, that song. Oh, you remember this one? Yeah. And just, I mean, literally, if they came knocking on my door, I probably have, I don't know, 800 songs in my playlist. Yeah, I also think all the new music sucks. Yeah. And I have a very eclectic, one time we talked about music on a show, I have a very eclectic taste for music. I can go from southern rock to alternative to really hard rock, and then even some R&B, old R&B, none of this crap that they have right now. I don't want to hear that stuff. But depending on the mood, you remember guys back in the college days used to make mixtapes and stuff depending on how you felt. Well, I had the hardest of hard rock so that I could go work out in the gym. I put that on. Yeah, just that stuff. And then you got your driving music. Then you got your other stuff, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, but we won't go there. But you had all these different genres of music based upon how you felt. So this just made me laugh. Barry, can I fax you? I got no facts, bro. Let's see what else we got here. Looking on you. Can't be any worse than the others he faced. Did I miss? If you came in late, let me just tell you, Trump's not on stage right now. Who knows how long it'll be before he comes out? But if you just jumped in here, yes, you missed Tucker. So rewind back. We're at an hour and 21 minutes. I happen to have written down when Tucker spoke. Tucker started speaking around the 22nd minute. So if you want to go back, rewind to like the 22nd minute, click on and listen to Tucker, and then fast forward back to the future when you're done. But you could probably check him out right now. It's definitely worth taking a look at. Jeff Tate. We're gonna do this, man. Are we really gonna do this? Are we gonna start going with music? Jeff Tate is one of the best singers I felt from that area. Maybe him and Klaus Meine. Klaus Meine didn't have the range of just Jeff Tate, but Jeff Tate, yeah, he brought it. He could definitely bring it. I pray you continue your messages and podcasts. So people have asked me, what are you going to do when this thing is over? Well, he's been doing 2 a day, so I haven't been able to do my show much, which is fine because you guys have all come in, and I'm not chasing numbers. I'd rather build a community anyway. So when he's done and he's elected, well, actually, before he's elected, because I think right after the 27th, he's not going to be doing as much. So I plan next Monday to begin doing my news show every night at 7. Unless he jumps in there with a press conference or something. But for the most part, every night at 7 p.m., I'll be doing a news show. And then what I'll do is I'll cut snippets from that news show and post them the following morning. So if you don't feel like sitting through 2 hours, you can check a snippet of what I was talking about the day before. I did that today. I started testing that today. And what I did was I took a snippet from the day before and posted it. So it's out there. And it's not, it was just a piece of his Christian speech yesterday and how people were praying over him. But that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do the live at night, and then we'll cut it up for the next day. 70s funk, Ohio players, Taste of Honey in Parliament. Damn, bro. You going back to the day there, huh? I wasn't a big Taste of Honey fan, but the Mothership, I'm sorry, maybe some of the white people don't really know what the Mothership was, so we ain't gonna tell them. They ain't ready for the Mothership. So don't talk about that. Ohio players, yep. Cassette tapes and Sony Walkman. Man, you guys making me feel old here. Once he's elected, all hell is going to break loose. Absolutely. Okay, I guess we're going to talk about music, huh? This is where we're going to go. Led Zeppelin was the greatest band ever. It's hard to argue with that. Yes, Barry, you could put out all the news so we can watch the news from you because you know the best news. Thank you very much. Going to try my best. All right, here we go. Everyone's going with the music stuff again. Do you like bluegrass? Wow. I like a little bit of bluegrass. Mainly one of my favorite bluegrass artists was Alison Krauss. Is that her name? Alison Krauss. And some of the stuff that she used to say. And if you ever saw the movie, let me make sure I say the title correctly. Oh, Brother, Thou Art, or Brother, whatever it is with Clooney and a couple of the guys. The music in that movie was fantastic. Pretty much bluegrass the whole way through. Love that. Somebody else says Parliament Funkadelic. Dude, we're going to lose people here. I'm older than you are, Barry. Okay. I want to digitize my albums in cassette tapes. Yeah, you can do that. Easy way. Just make a tie into your computer from your turntable or whatever, and then just get the MP3 file. That's pretty simple. Rush is my favorite band. Read lyrics to Witch Hunt is happening to Trump. Rush? Yeah. I was kind of bummed when Neil Peart died. The guy's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. SOS band. So if you guys have never heard the SOS band live, you really missed out. It was just amazing how the arena would go dark, and then you would just hear this little diminutive woman. There'd be a spotlight on her, and she, oh look, I get chills, and she would just said, "Play," and then you don't even know. You don't even know. The chat is blowing up because of the music topic. All right, so we can go here. Kate Bush. She sang a song with Peter Gabriel, which to this day is one of the most impactful songs I've ever heard. It's a song called "Don't Give Up." If you guys want to hear, Peter Gabriel at his best, and Kate Bush as well, "Don't Give Up" is a fantastic song. ABBA, I'm gonna lead that one to my wife. She's into that dancing stuff, the Dancing Queen and all that kind of stuff. Eagles, the Beach Boys, definite classics there. Dude, you're a dude and you're putting down the Partridge Family. Come on, bro. The Partridge Family. Okay, that's what it was. Oh, brother, we're out there. That's what it was. It was funny. Kiss Rocks. The other day when he played in Michigan, I tried to get the rights to the song Detroit Rock City, and they wanted all. Gene Simmons is still like holding on to that money pit right there, man. He understands how to market. He knows what he wants to sell, and he knows what his stuff is worth, and they weren't giving that up. Mark Knopfler, I know everybody loves Sultan of Swing, but my favorite, Dire Straits song is Brother in Arms. So that's where we go there. Earth, Wind, and Fire, best ever. Yeah, they still rock. Dion and the Belmonts. Dion was my mom's favorite singer. When she passed, it was just fun to hear her. She loved Dion, absolutely. The Stones, I like that movie. Don't Give Up. Yep, Don't Give Up. If you haven't heard that song, it's a very, very stirring song. We got somebody. Hold on.
Home, and I got to tell you guys, when I was asked to be here, it was really a no-brainer for me. Not only is...
Speaking of music, if you guys don't know, this is Jason Aldean, huge country singer.
And I wanted to share a couple personal stories with you guys about the man he is when the cameras are not rolling. One is, I was down in Florida. We live in Florida part-time. So I was down there. I got a chance to play golf with President Trump. And so we're coming up to a green one day, and his grounds crew was working. They kind of got out of the way so we could finish the hole. And after we're done, he walks up. There's like 4 of these guys. He walks up and says, "Hey, man, nice to meet you. How long have you been here? How long have you worked here?" I think the guy told him 5 or 6 years. He just shucked him off about $500, thanked him for his loyalty to him. And next guy, "How long you worked here?" 6 years. Gave the guy some cash, never turned around, no cameras rolling, no anything. And it told me a lot about the guy the very first time I ever met him, that even when the cameras aren't rolling, he's just an amazing person. Number 2, the second story, and this was just a few weeks ago. After Hurricane Helene came through and devastated part of our state of Georgia here, in 5 days, President Trump raised over $6.5 million for Georgians to help rebuild our state. When nobody else was doing anything, President Trump stepped up, even when he wasn't in office, stepped up to help our state, the state of Georgia. And to me, once again, it showed me what kind of person President Trump was at the heart of it all. So that is my friend. That's why I'm friends with President Trump. That's why I'm going to already casted my vote Monday for President Trump, as a matter of fact. Now, that being said, I've seen firsthand how the media can twist the truth. They've done it to me simply for putting out a song called Try That in a Small Town, if you guys remember that. Yeah, the song simply called out people for trashing our cities, harming people, disrespecting law enforcement, and costing our taxpayers millions of dollars for their unruly behavior. But no one is on the receiving end of lies and fake news more than President Trump. That's a fact. He endures more than the average person can fathom, and the fact that he doesn't need to be here, but chooses to be here, says everything I need to know. He's a president who, when knocked down, gets back up, raises his fist in the air, and says, fight. And to me, that's a warrior, and that's who we need running this country right now. Georgia is so important to this election. It is a swing state, and every vote is necessary, so do not sit this one out. Get out and vote. Vote early if you can. We need a future where our freedoms are protected, our economy is strong, our children are safe, our borders are secure. And to me, that leader is none other than the 45th President of the United States, Mr. Donald J. Trump. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming, after this video is played for you guys. Everybody calm down. We're all ready, trust me. We're gonna play a little video for you guys, and we're gonna welcome the boss, who we hope is the 47th President of the United States, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Thank you guys, Georgia, we love you.
So I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off
than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 4 years ago?
9% of Americans say the economy is getting worse.
This has been the four-year agenda. It's really crushed middle-class families.
Is there more or less unemployment in the country?
More than 70%
of people tell the country is on the wrong track. That track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president.
Is America as respected throughout the world?
Biden and Kamala Harris have projected weakness on the world stage. Imagine if Kamala Harris was the commander-in-chief. We're on the verge of World War III.
We feel that our security is as safe, that we're as strong as we were
Under
4 years
President
ago.
Biden, nearly 7.3 million illegal immigrants crossed the southwest border.
The Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
If you answer all of those questions, yes, well, I think your choice is very obvious as to who you'll vote for.
You know, they want hope. The people need hope. They want to have a future. Listen to the people.
If you don't think that this course that we've been on for the last 4 years is what you would like to see us follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have.
On my way.
He walked in fire. He's an absolute savage.
From securing the border to foreign policy progress and boosting the economy.
Trump beat Biden and Harris in a landslide.
Many are supporting because their lives were simply better under his administration.
People are hungry to be proud of this country again, and that energy is something that Trump is bringing.
November 5th is the most important day in the history of our country.
Sorry to keep you waiting, complicated business. As I was saying,
2024 is our final battle.
Everything is on the line in this election.
No one can sit home in November.
This election is going to decide the fate of Western civilization.
with you at my side, we will demolish the deep state.
Take back that glorious White House.
And we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
It's a dangerous
shot being president.
Polling shows Donald Trump expanding his lead. We see Trump leading enough swing states to retake the White House.
We got to get out there and vote. We can end this insanity once and for all. America great again. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 45th president of the United States of America, Donald J.
All right, so he's coming out. I'll leave the video on. Obviously, I can't play the song as he's walking out, but I'll tell you, that was one kick-ass video. Boy, whew, that was a good one. That was good. I love that. Gonna have to find that. See who did that and everything. So they're playing the song that you guys are familiar with, which is, you know, God Bless the USA from Lee Greenwood. And then he'll be taking a mic in a second, and we will bring him on as soon as he begins talking. As soon as this song is over. I just think tonight's going to be a little bit different than what we're used to hearing. Something tells me that this is going to be, he might light this place on fire tonight. Deservedly so, especially after what this crazy woman said this morning. And I can't imagine. I think he obviously couldn't say it this afternoon because it was more of a faith-based opportunity. But tonight, I don't think he's going to hold back. Not with this crowd, not with this kind of energy. He's in his environment. He knows he's ahead. He knows he's going to win this thing. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I think you guys are in for one hell of a speech tonight. Look at that place. Look at that. No, we haven't seen that at any rally. Charlie Kirk outdid himself tonight. This is fan-flippin-tastic. Unbelievable. What a show indeed. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, so let me go ahead and get ready. Hopefully the sound is synced. I'm going to go to my other feed because that feed looks much better. Hold 1 second. Let me go here. All right, so it's still playing. I love RSBN, but I can't use them all the time because they put so many different graphics on the screen, and I want you guys to be able to see Trump. This is going to be it. And just think, this is just the appetizer for what's going to happen in Manhattan. I can't even imagine what he's going to do in Manhattan when he gets to Madison Square Garden. All right, so Donald Trump is taking the mic. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Well, thank you very much, and hello, Duluth. Hello, Duluth. And a very special hello to Georgia. And I'm hearing our numbers are very, very good. There's a rumor out there. We're doing well, thank you very much, and I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are. And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? That was very unanimous, wasn't it? The answer is no. By any standard, the answer is no, and I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, I will end inflation, I will stop the invasion of criminals into our country, and I will bring back the American dream. I'm going to bring it back very quickly. Our country is being destroyed and crippled by Kamala Harris, a person that got no votes. Therefore, she's a threat to democracy. But together we're going to fix our nation, and we're going to fix our nation fast. With your support on November 5th, America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of incompetence, failure, and disaster, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. After all the catastrophes she has caused, Kamala Harris can't say one thing that you'd do differently. You saw that? What would you do differently? I can't think of anything. This is the worst president in the history of our country and the worst vice president in the history of our country. And wrong track just came out. 89% wrong track. I want to know, who are the 11%? Who are they? Where are they? I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country again. This will be America's new golden age. And remember, every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. In Georgia, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that, Kamala, you've done a horrible job. You're the worst ever. There's never been anybody like you. You can't put 2 sentences together. The world is laughing at us because of you and Crooked Joe. Kamala, you're fired. Get out. Get out. Get out. You're fired. Two days ago, I was in western North Carolina, where I witnessed the terrible devastation of Hurricane Helene. And I was here in Georgia with your governor a few weeks ago. He's doing a good job, by the way. Very good job. Thank you. To every family who has lost a loved one or a home in that terrible storm, our hearts are with you, and we are praying for you. The polls, despite everything, the polls, do you see what's happening here? Here, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia. The polls are through the roof, but what's better than that? The early voting is, people have never seen anything like it. They've never seen anything like it, because the American people are fed up with the people that are leading us down a road to disaster. So the polls are open for early voting in Georgia every day from now till November 1st. You got to get out there and vote, but most importantly, just vote. Whichever way you want to do it. I've been one that says, whichever way, just get out and vote. Be a little careful, make sure your vote gets counted. There are ways of doing that too. With your help, 13 days from now, we're going to win Georgia. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we are going to make America great again. Thank you. What a nice crowd this is. What a nice crowd. If Kamala gets 4 more years, she will obliterate our economy, kill millions of jobs, and destroy your family finances forever. They're destroying our country. They're destroying our country. It's not even possible that they can be doing what they're doing to our country. They're either really bad people, they don't have a clue, maybe they're stupid people. But you know what, I'll tell you, or maybe they just want to get extra voters. Nobody really knows the answer, but just from a common sense, you know, we are the party of common sense, and from a common sense standpoint, how can they be doing what they're doing? Kamala's inflation nightmare has already cost the typical family over $30,000 in higher prices. And now she wants to raise typical family taxes by nearly $3,000 a year. She has no idea. Did you see her today? She was asked kindergarten-type questions by MSDNC. She was unable to answer them. But the best is 60 Minutes. They changed her answer. Should I sue them? Should I sue? Should we sue 60 Minutes and CBS? No, think of it. They asked her a question on 60 Minutes, which is news. You know, these companies have to get licensed. And in the licensing, it says they have to be honest. They gave her a question. She gave an answer that was from a loony bin. They said, we can't have that. They took the answer out in its entirety, threw it away, and they put another answer in. And I think it's the biggest scandal in broadcasting history. That's what I think. It's election interference fraud. The tax queen, because that's what she was called. She loves taxes. This is the only person I've ever seen. She campaigns on, we will raise your taxes. All my life I've watched politics and everybody says, we will cut your taxes, cut you. She says she's going to raise your taxes. The tax queen is also demanding a shocking 33% tax hike on all domestic production, along with the largest capital gains tax on unrealized gains. Unrealized. In the history of our country, it's really a confiscation of your property. It will crash the stock market and decimate your 401ks, but we'll have a 1929 type depression. This woman is crazy. Take a look at this.
If Kamala Harris was elected president, there are many different tax policies which could cripple the economy. But the first thing she wants to do is allow these Trump tax cuts to expire. Even the New York Times admits.
The Tax Foundation finding that a couple with 2 kids making $165,000 a year would have to pay over $2,400 more in taxes.
And on day one, I will repeal that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to work to get rid of that tax cut. Joe and I are about to get rid of that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax cut.
Everything from a 70 to 80% tax rate.
I think that's fantastic. We've got to increase the corporate tax rate. Part of that is going to be about repealing that tax bill that they just passed. And also looking at estate taxes are going to have to go up. We will tax capital gains, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes.
Taxing unrealized gains just doesn't seem fair in any sense of the word.
When the value of your home goes up, you pay higher taxes even if you don't sell your home.
Your value of your home never moves the way the stock moves to say, we're going to tax what you don't have. That's a sore point, and it's a big deal. Is that something you think she firmly believes in?
I think it's part of the proposals of the campaign.
Under my plan, there will also be a carbon fee. There has to be some connection between the fee and bad behaviors, and there has to be, in that we have to monitor whether it's going to be passed on to consumers. But I'm going to tell you that should never be the reason not to actually put a fee, and in particular, a carbon fee.
Kamala Harris is also pushing the largest small business tax hike in history. Your businesses are just going to go to other countries. That's all that's going to happen. We brought it down to the lowest level we've ever had, and they're going to just drive everybody out. That means the jobs are going to be included. And she wants to massively increase the death tax, or the inheritance tax, as it's known in some quarters, which we eliminated in the Trump tax cuts. You know, we eliminated the inheritance tax on small businesses and family farms. And such a big thing. You know, a farmer has a little beautiful farm. The kids grow up on the farm. They're getting a little older. They sign their will. If they love their kids, not everybody does. But if they love their kids, listen to this. But if they don't worry. Just go to sleep for about 30 seconds. So what happens is they leave it, and what happened before me is they would lose their farms because the tax would be very substantial, like 52%, and they couldn't pay, so they go to the bank, the friendly banker, they'd borrow the money, they'd put it against the farm. Within 2 years, the farm was gone, and everybody was crying, and it was a disaster. I got rid of it. There's no more estate tax. There's no more estate tax on your beautiful family farm, and there's or small business, and that's a big deal, and they want to end that. They don't want that. They don't like that. They want you to pay a nice big tax and destroy your lives. We're joined tonight by Michael Bellerman, president of the Associated Builders and Contractors, represent over 23,000 small businesses and construction companies. And as a builder, I am very honored to receive their endorsement. They gave me a unanimous endorsement today. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great honor. And we were also endorsed by, unanimously, the Border Patrol, unanimously. And I say modestly, they said he's the greatest president we've ever had and the strongest on the border. They said it's not possible to be stronger. We had it down to the lowest level in history. Oh, by the way, should we drop my favorite chart in the entire world? I love it. Come, drop that chart, please. Drop it. Let's see, we're gonna, there, I don't like my hair tonight. I started looking at me, but I'd rather look at the chart. The chart, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that chart, right? Wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. But if you notice the arrow on the bottom, I take it to bed every night and I kiss it. You roll it up and just kiss it. See the arrow on the bottom? That is the day I left office. Look what happened after that. What they've done to our country is unbelievable. And that includes human trafficking, which is mostly in women. Do you know they lost 325,000 children in the last 3.5 years? 125. The camera can't move their damn little camera like this and like that. They're just like a piece of steel. And we say, move your camera. They won't do it because the executives back in New York and in California say, don't move that camera. You know, the camera operator does want to move it, but wants to keep his job. Can you believe it? They won't move the camera, so you won't see it home. I'm sorry to tell you. You won't see it. You won't see it. It's horrible. So when you look at that, that was the best we had had, and it was going better. We had it done. The border was the most secure it ever was. And then they came in. They got rid of Remain in Mexico. That's pretty good, right? Remain in Mexico. Wasn't easy either. It was Remain in Mexico. When I said to the president of Mexico, he's a good guy. He's a socialist, but that's okay. These are minor details. But I said, listen, President, we want everybody to remain in Mexico before they come in. We want to check them out before they come in, Mr. President. He laughed at me. He said, that's so funny, Donald. Why would we ever do that? I said, you're going to do it 100%? You're going to do it 100%? No, we cannot do that. We're not going to. Why would we do a thing like that? That'd be hundreds of thousands of people. That's right, on your side of the border, not on ours. He said, we will not do that. We will not do that. I said, listen, I don't want to embarrass you, so send me over your representative. And a man came over to the White House 2 days later wearing the most beautiful suit I think I've ever seen. And I wanted to ask him, who is your tailor? But I didn't think that would be an appropriate way to start the negotiation. Most gorgeous looking, the guy was a handsome guy. That suit was like perfect. But I thought I wouldn't do that. And I said, we want a couple of things. But we want you to, number one, provide us thousands of soldiers free of charge because you're letting people pour into our country. They said, we won't do that. I said, yes, you will, 100%. He said, we won't. I said, yes, you will. He said, no way. I said, way. And I said, you're going to do it. And the woman from the State Department, very good woman, but a terrible negotiator. She was 25 years. All she did was Mexico. And I said, we want this, and we want that. We want all these different things, 10 different things. The medical stay. We wanted everything. And she said, sir, I've been after that for 25 years. I said, well, maybe you and I are different. I will guarantee you I will have it by the end of this meeting. So I told him, you're going to give us all of these different things, and you're going to keep the people there, and we're going to let the people in if we want to, because we want to have people come in, but we want them to come in legally, right? And he said, sir, we won't do that. We will not do that, and we're not going to do remain in Mexico. I said, here's the story. It's Friday. By Monday morning at 7 o'clock, if you don't approve this, and that means over the next 5 minutes, we are going to charge you tariffs of 25%, 50%, 75%. They're never going to stop. He said, sir, you can't do that. That's not fair, sir. I said, no, it's not fair that you're sending people through your country and into our country and destroying our country. It's not fair. That's what's not fair. So this goes into effect at 7 o'clock on Monday morning. Have a nice weekend. He comes back. May I see you in 5 minutes? May I make a call to Mexico? I said, are you going to call the president? Yes, I am. He comes back in 2 minutes. Sir, it would be our honor to supply you with soldiers. It would be our great honor to supply you with as many soldiers, free of charge, of course, sir. As many as you want. You have no idea what I did in the White House. I stopped wars with France. France, you know the France story? They were going to charge us, think of this, 25% to all Americans. I have to protect American companies, whether we like them or not. Some of them I didn't even like. You know, Google is treating us much better. Do you notice that? What happened to Google? They're treating us much better. Very nice. I appreciate that very much. They say McDonald's was one of the most viewed things that they've ever had. Could you believe McDonald's? That was a hell of a one, right? But France, Emmanuel Macron, good man, nice guy, but he's a wise guy, though. And he likes France, and I like the USA. So I heard about it. I gave it to our people. I said, tell them we're not paying this massive 25% tax. Our companies, we have to protect our companies. And I gave it to Mnuchin. I gave it to everybody. I said, you call them and tell them. They came back, sir, they won't do it. Then they came back again, and they won't do it. I said, you got one more chance. Come back. They came back, sir, they won't do it. And I called up Emmanuel. I said, get me Emmanuel Macron. I said, Emmanuel, here's the story. You're charging our companies very unfairly a 25% tax. Is that right? Oh, yes, Donald. This was approved by our parliament or whatever the hell they have over there. There's 47 different names for that stuff. Yes, Donald, this was fully approved, and there's nothing much I can do about it. Emmanuel, here's the story. If you don't take that tax off, by the end of business hours today, I'm charging you a 100% tariff on every bottle of wine and champagne that comes in to the USA. And he said, Donald, that is not fair. I said, no, it's not fair that you're charging our companies this massive tax because they happen to be American companies. I said, we're not a stupid country anymore, Emmanuel. He's used to dealing with stupid people over here because we've had some beauties, the deals that we allow. And he said, it's not fair. I said, you got 3 minutes, Emmanuel. Tell me what to do. May I call you back? Yes, he calls me back. Donald, we have decided to remove the tax from American companies. I did that. I could stand up here. Nobody writes about this stuff. And I wish I put it on tape, but every time I say, oh, I'd love these conversations. I could tell you with Italy what I did. I could tell you. Here's the problem. Every time I think about I want to tape every conversation. The problem is then I start thinking about Richard Nixon did that. And I say, let's do without the tape. We'll do without the tape. No, every time I said, did we record that? No, sir, we didn't. I wish, because some of them were classics. You could really hear something. But no, we don't want to do that. Richard Nixon, that was not good. When they found out he taped every single conversation. But under Kamala, the construction industry will be decimated. You have to vote Trump and we will rebuild America. We're going to rebuild America. We're going to do it quickly, too. And we already gave you the biggest tax cut in history. We gave you the biggest regulation cuts by far, by 5 times in the history of our country. And you know, I went to the big business guys, they come in and they kiss my ass. It's unbelievable, these guys. You know, before I was president, Trump is on the phone. Tell him I'll call him back sometime. Once I became president, oh, sir, it's such a pleasure to speak to you, sir. It's such a great honor. Oh, I see him. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But we got you the biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation. And I said to some of the biggest guys running the big companies, good guys, some bad guys, some are really stupid as hell, some are good. But I said, let me ask you, I gave you the biggest tax cut in history, along with everybody, and it created jobs, all that. And I gave you the biggest regulation cuts in history. Which is better? Every single one of them said the regulation cuts were more important. People couldn't do anything. They couldn't build anything. They couldn't build plants. They couldn't build. I approved one in Louisiana. 14 years it was under, they know exactly which one, big LNG monster. $14 billion too, $14 billion it was going to cost. I think Japan and other countries were putting up the money. After 14 years, they gave up, and I called my people together, and I said, we can't lose that. It's so good, number one. Number two, the jobs. Number three, I mean, it's just important that it's vital that we have it. I got it done in one day. It was done. Congratulations. They use a lot of times the environment to try and stop projects. Not a lot of times, let's say every time, but we have to be very careful with that because we're all environmentalists, but we have to be very careful. You destroy our country. I will pass historic tax cuts for our workers and small businesses, and we will have very important, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. And we're also going to do something else, and this just came and I announced it in Detroit, because Detroit has been decimated. It's been decimated by stupid politicians. And it just came to me. I was called by some of the smartest guys on Wall Street. They said, how did you ever think of it? I use the paper clip. You know, the paper clip, very simple. They take a little piece of wire, they go like this. The guy became rich. And once everybody saw it, comes in a little box, 129 years ago, probably the same little box. And everybody said, why the hell didn't I think of that? Well, this is the same thing. Tax deduction on interest payments on a car. How about that? How about that? Nobody ever thought of it. And then I came up with a little wrinkle. But only if the car is built in the USA. Is that a good idea? Right? And then I'm going to be working with Elon Musk, who endorsed us very powerfully. He's great. All I know is I watched that rocket come down. I never saw that. I thought I was watching a movie or something, a space-age movie. I watched that rocket. I was on the phone with a very important person that everybody in this room will know. I got to be careful with using his name. I like to be nice and careful. You know that. And then I decide, am I better off being careful or really entertaining people? And I usually decide on the side of entertainment, and then I have problems. And I have problems. No, I'm talking to this very powerful big guy. We're talking, pop, 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 pop. And I have the screen on the television and it's muted. Can't hear the sound. And I'm seeing this rocket 20 stories tall, something like that, massive. And it used to be white, beautiful, polished white, and now it's all brown from that like 1,000,000-degree temperature coming down, pouring down at 20,000 miles an hour. And it's pouring, and I see that thing is steaming and crazy, and the fire's all over the place, and I'm looking, and then I see the gantry, the big gantry, and I see the thing coming in and slowing down a little bit, but it's still going fast. And I tell this very important guy, listen, would you do me a favor? Hold it for a minute. I'm seeing, just hold it. Hold it. When you're leading in the polls and when you already were president, you can say that to important people. Just hold. So I take the phone, I put it down. The sad part is I never picked it up, I forgot. They'll say, he's cognitively imbalanced. He didn't pick up. These people, are they the worst? So I take the phone, I put it down, I say, just a second, I'm watching something that I don't believe. And I see that fire pouring on the bottom of the rocket and it's coming in sideways. I said, it's gonna crash into the gantry. And then the fire goes on the left side and it pushes it over and it lands. And then those two big, beautiful arms, they grab it. I said, what the hell was that? Nobody's ever seen anything like that. So I forgot about my other call and I called immediately Elon. I said, Elon, was that you? He picks up his cell. I said, was that you, Elon? Yes. I said, can anybody else do it? No. Can Russia do it? Can China do it? Can the USA do it outside of you? No, nobody else can do it. I said, what do you call those arms? He said, think of them as chopsticks. I said, that's the way they're like chopsticks. They just grab it and they just put that thing down so beautifully. I said, that's great. So he's great. He gave me the most beautiful, you know where he is now? He's working in Pennsylvania, trying to get us lots of votes because he thinks it's so important. He's campaigning. Because he said, this is the most important election in our lifetime. And if Trump doesn't win the election, our country is potentially ruined. I mean, he's as strong as anybody I've ever seen. And we have to say, this is a seriously smart guy, right? You know, he helped us so much with the hurricanes because North Carolina had no communication whatsoever. And I was there early and I met one of the people that are in charge. And they said, all our wires are down and people are dying. A tremendous amount of people missing and dying, and the horrible thing. What a horrible hurricane that was. It was a water hurricane, more water than we've ever experienced from one storm. And it created rivers out of valleys. I mean, rivers that were 25 feet high and running down like rapids. It destroyed just about everything. And they had no communication. And the gentleman said to me, is there anything you can do? Do you know a man named Elon Musk? I said, I happen to know him. What's the problem? Could he get us Starlink? We're trying to get it. Nobody can get through. Starlink, you couldn't get it because it's very successful. So I called Elon. I said, Elon, whatever the hell Starlink is, can you do me a favor? Can you get it to North Carolina? They need it so badly. And then we talked just for a couple of minutes, and the guy wires me, thank you very much for getting Starlink. I'm still on the phone with Elon. He said, sir, thank you very much for the Starlink. They said it's coming right away. I said, Elon, we didn't even hang up. How the hell did you do that? He said, that's my secret. He's really a great guy. And he gives up a lot. He gives up a lot. No, he's given up. I mean, it's amazing that he does it. You know, people don't have to. He just feels so strongly that we're not going to have a country left with these people. Because she's really, seriously, this is not a smart person. And it's not a person that understands. And you can't even say, well, let's go to the vice president, because he is really a sicko, right? Remember he called J.D. Vance and I weird? We're not weird. We're very solid people. He's a weird dude, that guy. He's always pumping his heart, like he's got great heart. He's a sick guy. You got both of them. I don't know who the hell is worse. Well, she did one thing that's very smart in the world of politics. She got herself the worst person possible to be vice president. You understand that? Worst. So bad that they'd probably leave her. I don't know. And by the way, how good is J.D. Vance? How good is J.D. Vance? Right? We drafted the athlete. We drafted the athlete. You look at his academic credentials and all of the different things. We drafted a great athlete. He's doing great. He's a great guy, too. So working with Elon Musk, I will cut a record number of job-killing, unnecessary regulations, which will blow your mind when you see how many. And on day one of the Trump administration, I will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate, and we will end the Green New scam once and for all. Once and for all. And we will quickly again, we were never energy independent until I came along. We were energy independent. We went from number 4 to number 1 in a couple of years. We have more liquid gold under our feet than Russia or Saudi Arabia. I got Anwar approved. It's as big potentially as Saudi Arabia. In the first week in office, crooked Joe Biden probably made a deal. Crooked Joe Biden terminated the approval. Ronald Reagan wanted it. He couldn't get it done. Everybody wanted it. I got it done. It was all set. They were all set to start drilling. One of the biggest finds anywhere in the world, as big they think as Saudi Arabia. And in the first week, they terminated. We will have that unterminated so fast. Alaska. But we will quickly become energy dependent again. We weren't energy independent before that. To anybody's recollection, we weren't energy independent before that for maybe 100 years. They don't know at any time, but we were, and we will quickly become energy independent, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill, baby, drill, and frack, frack, frack. Now, she's not gonna frack. Her whole life, she's talking about, there will be no fracking. There will be no fracking. And I will cut your energy prices in half within 12 months, 50%, half, 50. Starting in January, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the single best and biggest market on the planet. But it won't be that way for long. If we have stupid people like this running our country, you're not going to have the big market anymore. It can go very fast. Look at Venezuela. 15 years ago, it was an unbelievable country. Now it's a disaster. They can't get water. They can't get food. But what did Biden do? He starts buying oil from them. Do you believe it? And we have so much. So he's putting them back to health. Such a great move to do. They were ready to give up. We could have let the people go back into Venezuela. This guy, I tell you, the worst. Jimmy Carter is the happiest man because his administration is brilliant compared to these two losers. Jimmy Carter is a happy man. You saw him the other day voting. I think he voted for me. But only if they make their products here. This is it. Got to make their products. Everything is based on you got to make your products in America. No more making them in China, making them all over the place. And you got to hire American workers for the job. And if these companies don't make their products here, then they will pay a very stiff tariff when they send their products into the United States, where they're made by somebody else or some other country. For the privilege of competing with our workers and our cherished but now very protected companies. We're going to protect these companies. We're going to have a lot of companies moving. You watch Detroit. Detroit, you know, for 40 years ago, I've been hearing about Detroit's coming back. Never came back. it'll come back so fast with a series of brilliant incentives that won't cost us anything, but most importantly, tariffs and taxes. Everybody's going to be moving back into the country because they're not going to want to pay. And one quick story, just a quick, should I say it or should I just get the hell out of here? One quick story. I thought you were going to say that. One quick story. So about 1.5 years ago, the largest builder of auto plants, who I know, John, I said, I want to see one of your factories that you're building. He's the biggest. And he said, okay. I said, where would we go? Mexico. I said, I don't want to go to Mexico. What the hell do I want to go? I want to see one here. Well, we don't build them big here. He builds them all over the world. He doesn't care. He builds them wherever the hell they pay him. And that's, by the way, with companies, that's why they move out of our country in 2 minutes if they're not going to be given the right deal. So I said, no, I don't want to go to Mexico. He said, well, the big ones are built in Mexico. I'm sorry. I said, how big is it? The biggest in the world. They're going to build cars. Think of this. Thousands, millions of cars. They're going to sell them into the United States, destroy Michigan. If Michigan doesn't vote for me, I tell you, I'm going to make Michigan richer than anybody. I think even richer than you. I hate to say it. Michigan, we're going to bring back the whole car business, but you can get plants also, okay? Because I don't care. As long as they're in the United States, I couldn't care less. So I said, how big would that be? He said, they'll make more cars than all of the state, the entire state, much more than Detroit. These are big monsters. You press a button and it starts. It's unbelievable. And the biggest in the world. I said, boy, I don't like that. That's going to kill him. So I started talking about it, and this plant that's being built, and everyone said, oh, it's not real. Well, it is. And then it was going to start. And then last week I spoke in front of the Economic Club of Detroit, and I spoke about cars, and I talked about this plant. And in the audience, just like right where you're sitting, sir, good-looking guy, stand up, please. Right you, that's right. Yeah, stand up. Right in your seat. That's where he sat, right there. I looked in the audience, and who do I see? I see John. And I said, oh, I passed a message to him while I'm speaking, because this was more interesting to me than anything I was doing up there. And I said, I want to see you after, so I see him afterwards. I said, John, tell me something. How is that monster plant, and it's actually more than one, but this one monster, how's it doing? Sir, they've abandoned that plant. What? That's great news, you know, because it's going to kill us. What do you mean they've abandoned? They think you're going to be elected president. You're going to put tariffs on their cars, and they won't be able to make any money. They're going to lose their shirt. They've abandoned the plant. I said, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. Marjorie, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. So Michigan can now keep their car companies going. But in all fairness, those are old plants and stuff. Generally, we're going to give them the greatest new plants. We're going to give them plants that are going to be unbelievable. We're going to put the auto workers. You know, the auto workers want Trump. The Teamsters want Trump. Did you see the Teamsters? The rank and file of the Teamsters voted 62% for Trump. Never happened. Nothing like that ever happened before. The firemen nationwide voted for Trump. The firemen. Never happened before. Never happened before. But I will never apologize for defending America. I'm not going to do it. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our families. And I will protect the birthright of our children to live in the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth, and that's what we're going to have. Under Kamala, you know, this crazy Kamala thing is just crazy. First of all, you can't call her Harris because nobody knows who the hell you're talking about. If I say to the legendary Marjorie Taylor Greene, Harris, I say, what do you think of the job Harris is doing? She'll say, who the hell is Harris? Nobody knows. No, it's the truth. Nobody knows who the hell Harris is. It's the weirdest thing, isn't it? So you have to say Kamala. Under Kamala and her economy, millions of Americans, she has no idea about an economy. She's not a smart person. She's a low IQ individual. She is. She is. She's a low IQ person. Millions of Americans are suffering because of inflation. They're losing their jobs. They can't afford housing, groceries, or a car. And yet Kamala is importing millions of illegals across our borders and giving them taxpayer benefits at your expense. And putting them into luxury hotels in New York and Chicago and Los Angeles, while our veterans are sleeping outside of that hotel on the street. So you are witnessing the economic oppression of Americans to reward and enrich illegal aliens. But all of that stops 2 weeks from now. It stops. For 4 straight years, Kamala Harris has imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions from all around the world, from Venezuela to the Congo. You know, the Congo's a hot country now for us. They're sending us their prisoners by the thousands. All over the world, they're coming in. From the Middle East, they're coming in. Their prisons are being opened. Venezuela, their prisons. I would do the same thing. I would do it. I would have done it faster than any of them. Venezuela still has some prisoners left. I mean, it's amazing that they've been so nice to us. They're depositing their prisoners. They're dumping. We're a dumping ground. They're dumping their prisoners, their gang members, their drug lords into the United States of America because they say that America is run by stupid people, and they have open borders. They have an open border where anybody can come in, just walk across. Historically, when you have swastikas on your forehead and swastikas all over your cheek and lots of other symbols all over your face, historically, that person isn't going to be a tremendous help to our economy. And yet they walk through that open border and probably say, man, are these people stupid? And then they start to kill. They kill. And we built over 500 miles of wall, and we were going to add 200 miles of wall, and it was already made as per specifications of the Great Border Patrol. They want steel, they want concrete, and they want rebar. I wanted just plank. I wanted concrete, beautiful, like long spans of I'm very good at construction, actually. I wanted long spans of concrete plank. They said you have to have steel because they cut through concrete too easily. We had a whole big deal, but we gave them just what they want. Even the anti-climb panel on the top, you know, the big panel of steel, I hate it. I hate the look of it, but guess what? It's called an anti-climb panel for a reason. Put it up there. We have great stuff, very expensive to build, hardened concrete and hardened steel, very hard to cut, even with a blowtorch. I had a very hard time taking it down. And then I ordered 200 miles more, and we could have had it put up in 3 weeks to 4 weeks, and they didn't want to put it up. And then they started selling it for 5 cents on the dollar for steel, okay? And then she resettled these people into your communities all over America, and they're the roughest people. When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion of our country ends and the restoration of our country begins. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country through her open border policy. Remember, she was the border czar. She doesn't like saying that, but she was the border czar. And even if she wasn't, she was in charge of the border. Do you know, I asked the Border Patrol, did she ever call? Not once. I spoke to the top 10 guys. Did any of you, I know them very well. They're phenomenal people, by the way. They want to have a great, strong border. They hate, you know, it's easier for them. Let them pour in. Who the hell needs to get hurt? Because it's a rough deal. These are rough people. And I said, did she ever call? Not once. Not one of them ever received a call. She admits it. She never called them. But the savage Venezuelan prison gang, Tren de Aragua, have you heard of them? They're a lovely group of people, Tren de Aragua, that has taken over apartment complexes and unleashing a violent terror spree all over America. But specifically in Aurora, Colorado, where the governor is petrified of them. He's a radical left Democrat. He is petrified of them. He doesn't know what to do. They've even taken over Times Square. There's a front page article today in the New York Post. They're taking over Times Square in New York, and they have weapons that our military doesn't even have. You say, where the hell are they getting the weapons? But we have guys that want to confront them, and they're going to be allowed to confront them, and we're going to get them the hell out of here. Take a look at this little video.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities.
Complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about migrant crime, this is what they're talking about. Biden and Harris had created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented cross-border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE. Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Our border loaded up with migrants and dropping them off in the Middle West and the middle part of our country. They forgot to tell us that, but we saw them. We said, what are all those big planes doing flying there? These people are bad people. So they didn't want to stop anything. I will immediately outlaw sanctuary cities in this country. They're sanctuary for criminals. And I will ban all welfare and federal benefits for illegals, because then they won't come. They won't come. I mean, Gavin Newsom, one of the worst governors of the history of our country. Gavin Newsom, she destroyed San Francisco. Now she wants to destroy our country. That's Kamala. But she worked with Gavin Newsom. What they've done to California, you know, now we have more people leaving California, the most beautiful place. And I tell people I hurt myself when I say that, because I have great property there. When I say that, this political game has not been good for me. But I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's peanuts. This is the whole thing. We're going to save our country. What the hell difference does it make? No, it's a killer. I have property in San Francisco, big property. And I say that she's destroyed San Francisco. She started the destruction. It was the best city in America 18 years ago. In California, what they've done to California, her, Gavin Newsom, the same group, it's just like terrible. They've destroyed it. And we're not going to let them destroy the United States of America. They've gone far enough. As we secure our borders and rebuild our economy, we are also going to make America healthy again. The Kamala healthcare plan will make our kids sicker and their diets more toxic. Under the Trump administration, we will get the toxic chemicals out of our food supply, and we will make our children healthy again. We will spend more money on health care than any other nation, but think of that. You know, we do. I don't know if you know. We spend more money by far than any other nation. But we have more chronic health problems also than any nation, more childhood diseases than we did just a generation ago. Millions of Americans are realizing that something is wrong. By getting this fixed, not only will we have healthier families, we will save trillions and trillions of dollars and bring down the cost of health care. With us tonight is the man who's going to help us get it all straightened out, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.
Just wait until the music goes off. And
in our food that are illegal in Europe. But the problem is not from those chemicals. The big problem is corruption in our federal agencies. And these agencies are now owned by big pharma, by big food, and big agriculture. Don't you want a president who's going to get the chemicals out of our food? And don't you want a president who's going to get the corruption out of Washington, D.C.? And don't we deserve a president of the United States that's going to make America healthy again?
Thank you, Bobby. Nobody gets a standing ovation like that. What's going on over here? That's great, Bobby. Great. Thank you. Thank you. And as you know, Bobby's great mother, she was a great woman, Ethel, passed away, so our regards and condolences to the family. Thank you, Bobby. Our movement is bringing together Americans of all backgrounds who believe in freedom, democracy, and a thing called common sense. Much of it's common sense. Conservative, liberal, it's common sense. Let me also call up two other incredible patriots who want to help save our incredible country. Former Democrat presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard. And by the way, she just became a Republican. And a great man, a brilliant person, and a true character, Tucker Carlson.
Playing music again. Hold on a second. As soon as they get up to the microphone, we'll put them both back on. Who's going to talk first? Tucker.
I think Donald Trump's singular contribution to this country and the world is by his presence exposing a lot of things a lot of us believed as fraudulent, as lies. It's changed my life watching it. But the single biggest lie that Donald Trump has exposed is that this is a functional democracy, when in fact, it's a country oppressed by a small group of its unhappiest citizens for their own benefit. And the promise of this campaign is that Donald Trump will return this country to its owners. And that's its population, that's its people, that's its citizens. And I pray fervently that that happens. I mean it. That's why I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
We have seen from the very beginning how much President Trump has been attacked, smeared, censored, the government weaponized against a candidate for president and a former president in ways that have never been seen in our country before. The reason why this has happened is because he is the sole person who has had the courage to stand up against the uniparty war machine in Washington and have the audacity to call for peace and an end to war. While he has challenged the swamp creatures in Washington, all of you have resoundingly nominated him for president 3 times in the last 3 presidential elections. We know whose side he stands on. He stands on the side of the people. He stands on the side of peace and prosperity and freedom for all Americans. It's why I'm proud to stand with President Trump and why we, the people, must vote to send him back to the White House and make America great again.
All right, so they're all just taking some bows while the music's playing. What a team. He's got three out of the 5 there. No J.D. Vance and no Elon, but everybody else is there. Wait till New York. Wait till New York where Tulsi, Tucker, RFK Jr., J.D. Vance.
Great people. Thank you very much. That is a great group. That is some assemblage of talent. And very great honor to have them. Thank you very much. We're also pleased to be joined tonight by Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. Burt, thank you. Wherever you may be, Burt, thank you. Great guy. And Representatives Mike Collins and Marjorie Taylor Greene, please. Thank you, Marjorie. Future Congressman, congressional candidate Brian Jackie's been with me from the beginning, and now he's a congressman soon. And a wonderful human being, a great man, Ben Carlson. Ben, thank you very much. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Great man. And thank you, Candy. Thank you very much, Candy. State Senator Clint Dixon, terrific. And State Representative Mike Kokas. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Good job. Commissioner Tyler Harper, he's done a fantastic job. And Chairman of the Georgia Republican Party, Josh McCoon. Josh. Thank you. Where's Josh? That's good. Are we doing okay, Josh? I'm hearing we're winning big. That's good. Former Senator Kelly Loeffler and her husband. Her husband, thank you, Kelly. Thank you, darling. Jeff Sprecher, he owns the New York Stock Exchange. This guy's loaded. He owns the New York Stock Exchange. What's that like, Jeff? What is that like? But he's a great guy. Thank you both. A man of tremendous faith, and everybody respects him. Jensen Franklin. Thank you, Jensen. And he's been with me from the beginning, day one, right? With Paula and a whole group of people. I want to thank you. And we just had a little session behind this wonderful stage. We had, must be 45 pastors and ministers, and they were praying. I said, if this doesn't work, nothing's going to work. Nothing's going to work if that doesn't work. But thank you all. You're all incredible people. We have tremendous respect for you. Terrific man. Man was treated very unfairly, but he's a great man, and he really knows what he's doing. David Schaefer. David, thank you. Thank you, David. Where's David? Thank you, David. Great job, David. And the #1 country music artist, Jason Aldean. He's my friend, but he's talented. You know, I played golf with him, and I said, you're much better with a guitar than you are with a golf club. Much. And he wasn't insulted by that, but thank you. Great guy. My son, Eric Trump. Where is Eric? Thank you, Eric. He works. And a woman that likes me because I will not allow men to be in women's sports, Riley Gaines. Thank you. Thank you, Riley. Not even for a day, Riley. We'll do it very fast. Benny Johnson, thank you very much. And Peter Navarro, thank you very much. And Steve Witkoff, one of the great entrepreneurs of our country, actually, Steve Witkoff. But I especially want to thank Charlie Kirk, because he is working so hard. He has worked so hard. He's working on making sure everything is proper. That's what he wants to do. Turning Point Action, the job they do is amazing. The only thing is, one thing when I come here and do this for him, I always have to shake about 15 times the number of people. I was shaking hands for an hour. And oh, I said, this must be a Charlie Kirk affair. But you know what? He's a fantastic person. The job he does with Turning Point, and I just want to congratulate him and thank him. He's working very hard. So we are running against the most radical, most incompetent, most unfit vice president in the history of our country. No one respects her. No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously. This is a woman who took yesterday off. How do you take yesterday off? You got 13 days, you're running for the presidency, she takes her time off. I've gone 52 days in a row, and I'm not taking any days off, that I can tell you. No, but think of that, she's taking days off at levels not seen. I hear she's taking another one tomorrow or something. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Maybe she knows something we don't know. That's bad, right? Maybe she knows something we don't know. Does everybody understand that? Maybe. She takes a day to study for a simple interview with an MSDNC reporter, but then makes a fool of herself with answers that are so crazy. And we'll never forget 60 Minutes. We're never going to forget it. We can't. I think I'm going to sue them, actually, because there's no way they can answer it. There's no way they can say, no, we don't like the answer she gave, and they immediately replace it with something. There's no way they can answer that. But we are not running against Kamala. She means nothing. She is purely a vessel. She can't put two sentences together. She can't do it. Just like we were not running against crooked Joe Biden, who, by the way, said yesterday about me, quote, we got to lock him up. I told you. He said, then he denied it. I didn't mean that. Because he's not legally allowed to say, he can't say that. But I've been telling you that. It's election interference. This is all it is. He said, we got to lock him up. This is illegal and should cause cases. I mean, look, think of it. I've been under investigation more than the legendary Alphonse Capone, Scarface. And my parents are looking down, and my father was tough, and my mother was great. She was so sweet. And I said yesterday, I know she's in heaven. I'm not 100% sure of my father, but he was a good man. He's a tough guy and a good guy. He had a big heart, too, and he was smart. But they're looking down on me now, and they're saying, how the hell could my son be worse than Alphonse Capone? How could he be? This is who we're fighting, and we're fighting them hard. These are the people who are doing such harm to our country with their open borders and record-setting inflation and the Green New scam. They're trying to destroy our country. But we're not going to let it happen any longer. We are going to have the biggest victory in the history of our country on November 5th. We are going to make America great again, November 5th. We are going to make America. Isn't it a beautiful expression, MAGA? Think of it. The greatest movement in the history of our country, and all of that fake news, there's so many of them back there. All of that fake news. If it weren't true, they'd say, he said this and he said that. No, it's the greatest movement by far. You know, I was thinking the other day, there was a good man, Pat Buchanan. A lot of you forget. But he came in second in New Hampshire, and he built a huge career. We came in first in 38 different states, and then we won the presidency. And then we did much better the second time, getting millions and millions of votes more. And something very bad happened. But there is far more enthusiasm right now than for number one or number two by 50%. And you see that by the votes that are coming in at numbers that think of North Carolina. Their property is devastated. Their lives, in many cases, are ruined. Everybody said, if we get 50% of the vote, it would be a miracle. And it was Trump territory, I must say. It was mostly Trump. These are people that vote for me and the Republican Party. And what happens? They broke the all-time, think of it, the house is gone, some lost family members. The devastation, I can't believe it. Trees were turned upside down, buses were thrown 100 yards away or floated there. The devastation was incredible. We really meant if we could get 50% of the vote, it would be amazing. We broke the all-time record. We've never had more votes from those areas than we did. Think of what that means. Oh, think of what it means. It's impossible to conceive. And I want to thank them. North Carolina was really hit. Wow, I saw sites over the last few days. I've never seen anything like it. Kamala Harris does not have the compassion, the intelligence, or the strength to be the president of the United States. She cannot do the job. She's not fit. She's not fit to do the job. She's an international joke. Other countries and their leaders who are very streetwise people, they're at the top of their game. They can't believe this is even happening. She's going to end up getting us into World War III. We're not going to let that happen. And on top of it all, she says she would not do anything differently from Joe Biden, which is absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, disqualifying. Shouldn't even be allowed to run. He has almost a 90% negative path, 90%. And she won't do anything differently, including saving the 325,000 children that I talked to you about. Let's take one quick look.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted.
The day after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack, the suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022. Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes. You the last person in the room? Yes.
So in closing, here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist rated even worse than Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas. She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police, and anybody who wants to defund the police even for one day is not worthy of being president of the United States. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. She vowed repeatedly to ban fracking. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as nonviolent crimes. She pledged to confiscate your guns. She will confiscate your guns, 100%, and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention if they call for it. Think of it. Illegal aliens in detention, they got caught. If they want to have a sex change operation, she's in favor of it. And all at taxpayer expense. And very importantly, and you saw that the other day, She lied about working at McDonald's. She'd never worked there. She's a liar. And she wants to turn our country woke. Take a quick look at this, because we had that toughest. And remember this, I defeated ISIS with our military. They're not going woke. They're not going woke.
All right, so for this quick segment, Trump plays a supercut that they put together, his team put together, and it's a supercut of the movie Full Metal Jacket, showing the drill sergeant and one of the cadets or young recruits, and he intersperses during that a couple of DEI transformers who are in military garb, and then they do a quick change like on TikTok, and they wipe their hand, and the next frame basically has them in full transformer regalia. I show it, but there's two things wrong with it on YouTube here. They don't like, actually, they won't let you show a copyrighted property like Full Metal Jacket, and they also don't like you talking about the Transformers, because it's offensive or something. You know what I mean? It's offensive. So Trump's hitting the third rail here that can get people in big trouble. There's 1, 2, 3 different military people who do the quick change from their military gear to Transformers. It's kind of disturbing, to say the least. All right, so he's back right now. He'll be talking in a second, but it's very disturbing seeing what these people are doing in the military.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So with your vote this November, we're going to fire Kamala Harris, and we are going to save our country. We're going to save America. With your support, we will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to the state of Georgia. They're coming back. And it won't even take long. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine. It should have never started. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III from happening. We were never closer than we are right now. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a massive missile defense shield over our country, all made in the USA. Why shouldn't we have one? And we will land an American astronaut on Mars in a very short period of time. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. We will keep men out of women's sports. I will defend religious liberty, I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, our Second Amendment. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country, defend our borders, and protect our citizens. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. It will be ended. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig. Early voting is underway. Get everyone you know. Tell your husband, Harry, get out of that sofa, Harry, get out. Turn that damn football game off, Harry. You're going to vote, Harry. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. That's what we're going to have. With your help, from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we all so love. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in, we will never give up, and we will never, ever back down, and we will never, ever surrender. And together we will fight, 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 and win, win, win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. You will be so proud of your vote when you look back in 25 years, 50 years, a long time. You're going to be so proud. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Georgia. God bless you. Thank you.
All right, everybody. 3 hours later, what a long rally, but it was very entertaining. Hearing RFK Jr. before he got cut off there. Tulsi, Tucker Carlson, Charlie Kirk, and a very, very confident-looking Donald Trump, who looks like he knows this thing is in the bag. Of course they're going to try and cheat. We already know that. We already know all the games they're going to try and play. It's not the stuff that I'm worried about. It's the other stuff that worries me. Is what will they do that's basically off the books? Well, again, I'm trying to be as delicate as I can here, but you don't go out and tell the world that you're running against Adolf, and then you don't have the president come out and say you're basically running against Adolf if you're not trying to incentivize the absolute nuts in society. He's got it. As far as I'm concerned, it's there. Get out and vote. Make sure you get the numbers too big. They're going to, I told you earlier, over the next 11 days, you're going to see all kinds of stories. You're going to see all kinds of things with the pollsters. You know, those same pollsters that have been dark for, about a month, all of a sudden they're going to be dropping polls. In those polls, you're going to see them on X and everywhere else on television. Oh, Kamala Harris has closed the gap. She's only down by 2. Oh, look at this one. Kamala is actually up by 3 in Michigan. And just turn it off. Just watch something else. Don't pay any attention to them. Just keep going. It's over. There is no mathematical way. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm not going to keep saying it. You guys have to know it's absolutely over. Barry, why do you say that? I can tell you about the black vote. The black vote, 91% is what Biden got. She's down to like 60. That's 30% difference. You can't make it up mathematically. I don't care what you do, you cannot make it up mathematically. Same thing with Hispanics. Can't make it up mathematically. So it's basically over. Now it's just how big will it be? Will it hit landslide, territory? And what will they do with their delaying the vote and everything else? So one of the things, and he just said it again, he said landslide. And then before him, RFK Jr. said landslide. Those aren't words you just pick to say. Those aren't words that any politician would utter out of their mouth if they didn't feel extremely, extremely confident. You don't hear her saying it. She's still trying to get people just to come out to the polls. These guys are actually talking about how big it has to be. Trump keeps talking too big to rig, landslide territory. RFK Jr., landslide. The words being bandied about, meaning there's no, in their mind, and in my mind, there's no doubt about the outcome at this point. It seems to be what amounts to a foregone conclusion, and they are indeed ready to run with it. So that's where we are. Do me a favor, if you guys want to see some stuff that we can't talk about here, but you'd like to go on X, but you're not really sure how you should go X, go here. Go to fanfareshop.org/group and join what was 4,000. Now our next goal is 6,000. But right now we're about, I think about 5,200. It's free, completely free. Just go fanfareshop.org/group and join our private group over on X. That way you can learn how to use X. You can see how much news there really is that you're not seeing. When they talk about the 325,000 kids, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that you're not seeing. It's amazing how much you'll be told and how much you'll be able to research when you're not counting on the mainstream media. I had said earlier, if the richest man in the world is telling you, take the red pill, those 4 words mean so much to so many people, and many people don't know what that means. Well, if you join our group and you start seeing this stuff, trust me, you are going to see stuff you're going to go, oh my God, I didn't know that. Oh my God, what is that? I mean, there is stuff that is just going to shock you because nobody's talking about it. You actually have to be shown, or you have to dig on your own. I'm encouraging you to do both. Get in, start digesting some of the stuff that's real news. Remember, a newscast. Let's say on the evening, Fox has Jesse at 8, Laura at 7, Jesse at 8, Hannity at 9, 10 o'clock is Gutfeld. There is no news. That's all opinion pieces. So news ends at 7 p.m. on both networks. 7 p.m. I think is Aaron Burnett on CNN, and all evening the shows are basically opinion pieces, almost like magazine pieces. MSNBC, I think 7 p.m. is when Joy Reid comes on. So you're not going to get any news. You're getting just opinion. So the news has to happen during the day, and even then, they're only covering so many stories. There's someone who's overlooking as what they're going to cover, and in that period of time, you're not seeing the real news. You're not seeing Kamala's schedule being released, and it's showing that she's not doing anything. You see that on X. You're not going to see where people who have inside information from different staff members and what they're saying here or there. You're not going to see that on the news. You're going to see people posting documents of actual things that are being filed in courts. You don't see that on the news. There is no news. X is the news. Trust me, once you get over there, you will find, I'm sure, some people here in the comments who will tell you, X is the news. If you want to be kept abreast of things without having to go through the filter of a news channel, go look at it. And also be careful. There is some raw footage being shown out there. Raw footage on many, many things. This morning I had a funny one, actually. It was a woman, a true Karen, and this woman rang her next door neighbor's doorbell, and their Ring doorbell filmed it all. And this woman just sits there and goes, "Are you really voting for Donald Trump?" And then the person who owns the house, whatever, goes, "Yeah." And then she just goes off on her. I mean, swearing and everything else. You're never going to see that on the news. You're never going to see real people giving their opinion on this and that and the other thing. That's what you're going to find. And I think that's going to help educate many, many, many people without the confines of everything we have here or on, forget Facebook. If you're on Facebook, I mean, talk to your kids and your grandmother or grandfather and post your pictures of the kids and the dog and Halloween pictures. Yeah, that's fine for that. But if you're looking for news on Facebook, forget it. Definitely not on Instagram. Unless you're looking for cute chicks or cute guys, definitely not on Instagram. Everything you're going to need to find out what the hell is going on in the world is on X. So get yourself some. I saw that, and it was funny. At the where'd it go? And the lady inside was very kind. Oh yeah, she knew she was being filmed. She knew. She's like, "I'm sorry, ma'am. Yeah, I'm sorry you feel that way." And it was perfect because this lady was losing her crap, just screaming because she's voting for Trump. There are so many people right now who are never coming back. That normalcy is gone. They have been completely gaslit and brainwashed to the nth degree, and they're never coming back. Never coming back. These people are dangerous when they get triggered. Yeah, she got dangerous just because a woman had a sign in her yard. Beth is finding out X is a whole different world out there. Yeah, you know. So when you start digging about the 325,000 kids, I'm going to tell you something right now, because I learned talking to Robin. Because I say, hey, babe, you ready for the red pill? You want to see some stuff? And she's like, yeah. And I just dumped it all on her, and I told you the story. And I woke up the next morning, she's still looking, and her eyes are like this. I'm like, oh my God, what did I see? She had been crying. If you start digging into the missing kids, which you will never find on YouTube and you will never find on Facebook or Instagram, when you start digging on X and seeing what's really going on, before you do, pray. Make sure you're shielded, that your heart is ready for what you're going to see. That's all I can tell you. And if you want to start and you want to realize how the media doesn't talk about things, just go ahead and search the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. I'm not sure if any news reporter put it out there. I'm not sure. But if you look that up and see what happened to the CEO or former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, you'll see quite. I was going to show it, but there's no way I can show it. You'll see. You'll see. He told me he didn't want to talk politics, even though we both voted first day voting here in Texas. Good for you. Been there. I dug. It's sad. Yeah, you're going to find out. And you know what it does too? When you start digging in certain subjects and you start seeing what's out there, you're going to go, why have I been lied to all my life? And why is no one in my government doing anything about this? And understand some of the stuff you have to learn to filter through and see who's fake and what's not fake, what's AI. You'll learn that. But most of the stuff you're going to just wonder, how is this happening in America? And why is nobody doing anything about it? How in the hell could this been happen for years and years and years? Just saying. Did I ever see the video where some guy electrified his Trump yard sign? That was funny. Yes, Trump was he was reserved, but he was on fire. Absolutely. Oh goodness, pray before I hear what's really going on. Robin, if you're in here, you could underscore this and let some of these people know. Stacy here says, oh goodness, pray before I hear what's really going on. Oh yeah. Yeah. And as you're scrolling, if you get to this part where there's a picture, think to yourself if you want to see that picture or that video. Don't just scroll and go, oh, let me see the... Oh, no, I didn't need to see that. Well, just understand, if you start digging and there's so much you're not hearing, you can start light. Go in and dig about Abercrombie and Fitch. You can start that tonight and just go, oh, that guy. Oh, and he knew that guy. And he got arrested, but how come he didn't? Oh, this guy was good friends with the guy who owned the island. Oh. Yeah, you can start playing 6 degrees of separation. How about this one? I'm gonna say this one very delicately so that you guys can go look on your own. Let me see this. How many of you know right now that Bill Gates was indicted and what he was indicted for? Well, I tap dance around that one pretty good. I just want to know if you guys know. How many people in the chat know that Bill Gates was indicted today or yesterday and what he was indicted for? Because I bet you they're not talking about it. I'm looking to see. Nobody's saying it right now. Maybe it takes a second for it to get through by the time you type. But yeah, go ahead and yes. Yes, I do. Yeah, people are go look that up. Look up Abercrombie and Fitch. I always say Abercrombie and Fitch. And then also begin looking at why was Bill Gates indicted. You're going to be shocked. And I bet you don't hear it on the news. Nope. Nobody's going to tell you on the news when you find out that Bill Gates was actually indicted. Yeah, I did not hear about that. I did. Go ahead and look that up. Go ahead and look that up. No, it's not about kids. It's about something else that really affected your life a couple years ago. But see, those are kind of things, even though it's an indictment. Think about this for a second. This isn't speculation. This isn't tinfoil hat conspiratorial nuttery. This man was indicted. A criminal charge was filed against him, and you won't find it on the news, and we can't talk about it here. Think about that. So this is the stuff that they keep from you is not just stuff that, the 17th letter of the alphabet stuff. This is stuff that's actual news. A man was indicted criminally, and you're not going to see it anywhere. And then you have to say to yourself, well, why? Why would you keep legal stuff from me? Never mind conspiracy stuff that you want to label as kooks. Why would you keep something like that from the American people? Yeah, go ahead and look at it. I see some people know. Yes, I think it was from the Netherlands. Yeah, it was. But when you see that and you realize how it ties into everything, and that what happened here in America, and I'm being very careful not to say the words, but when you dig in and start, wait a minute, so you're telling me this guy was indicted because of this, and what did the American government do? Because how come the Netherlands, American government ain't even talking about it? Don't want to hear it. What's up? What else happened that you won't hear on the news? Did you hear about the UK working with Kamala to basically silence Elon Musk and X? Have you heard about that story? Not going to see that on your evening news. Nobody's going to talk about that. It's been exposed. I think I can actually show you that. Let me just. That's not anything about. It's not anything, touch and go. So I can show it to you if I can find it. That Elon, I'm getting there. I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to get there. He posts so much stuff. Let me get to it. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll find it. Oh, and here we go. Okay. The quote, kill Musk's Twitter fiasco. A tangled web of foreign influence, censorship, and ethics. And so documents came out where now Elon Musk has said this is war. Exclusive documents. Working with Matt Taibbi, we report on CCD hate documents showing the Labour Party's political front objective is to kill Musk's Twitter through advertising process, meaning to harass his advertisers. See the internal documents provided by a whistleblower. And there it is. Exclusive information that British advisors to Kamala Harris hope to, quote, kill Musk's Twitter. It's right there. Read that and find out what Kamala Harris has been doing behind the scenes to take down Elon Musk. This is the type of stuff you won't hear on the mainstream news. They won't show it to you. And that's why I keep pushing people, especially these days. Begin educating yourself. Understand what's going on. Look up the DD, what was it, DD 5021? What was it? What was the number? I think, who mentioned it today? Was it Tucker that mentioned it? Let me see if I can find it. Not sure what the number is, but people were talking about it. I can't say it here, Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, there it is. All right. Start digging into this. Know what you're about to get into. Know what you're about to get into. The most chilling headline you need to see before the election. DoD Directive 5240.01 has now allowed the military to do that. I think it was Tucker who talked about that. Did you know about that? That's just 4 stories. That's just like 4 stories I just brought up. Bill Gates, this authorization, the Abercrombie and Fitch. You need to start seeing what's going on, and you're not getting it on the news whatsoever. YouTube is denying BGB. Yeah, they don't want people to talk about it. He's not going to go overseas. He just, yeah. And the same guy who got indicted just gave $50 million to Kamala. Think about that. Why would he have given Kamala $50 million? Well, maybe he's betting. He's his own poly market at this point. He's betting that she gets elected, so all his other stuff just goes under the table. She can shut down any investigation. So when James Carville and all these people are like, oh, they're going to put us in jail, dude, there's an arrest warrant for that dude. There's another country that I don't know what our reciprocal law is with them, but they've indicted him, and he's sitting here. And so he's given Kamala $50 million, so if she gets, installed, he'll feel safe. So James Carville is right, because more and more of these people, the dominoes are starting to fall. Excuse me. So be careful with that. All right, I'm going to get out of here because I've been here for 3.5 hours, and y'all been here for 3.5 hours. Thank you. Let's go ahead and read the super chats, because that's what I do here at the end, because I love my peoples. Loves my peoples. All right, so let's go here. Boom, and let me go back to the top. All right, so where's my page? All right. From the top, Lisa Ramos. Hi from the Georgia rally. Oh, you're there. Awesome. Always a great day with you, Barry. That's a big cat. Renee Anderson. Thank you, Barry. Being Stewart family, watch you always with great truth. Thank you very much. No rest. No, man, this man is... Nope. There's no rest when you're dealing with this guy. I mean, he's 78. I got to run with him. Georgia Butney, thank you very much. Ray Smith, thank you for all you do us, Barry. I enjoy watching you and the information you show and share. Thank you. Too soon to pop champagne. Yeah, we'll do that. Barry, Sandy, how can candidates for Erie County, New York Supreme Court Justice, blah, 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 at the same time, 4 choices, vote for 4? How can candidates for Erie County, New York Supreme Court Justice be Dem? Oh, okay. That's your local election for you. Not really sure. Arizona 1 guy, thank you, sir. Tucker rocked it. It was exactly how I feel. As Americans, we got to stand up. If we do not, our constitutional republic is doomed. Daddy's coming home and he's pissed as hell. Rated R. We don't need a effing M&M for endorsement to speak truth for power. Did you see they gave Lizzo $2.3 million for her to come up and say a couple words? Burning through cash. Susan Louderback, this rally is incredible and truly renews my hope. However, I'm worried about Trump. You should be. Tulsi, JD, Charlie, RFK, and Elon. It's unpredictable what or who might be targeted next. Indeed. By the way, Elon Musk said that, he's been quiet about it, but that he's had some, how can you say it, attempts as well. Patricia Hurley, thank you. What will Hunter Biden do when Trump wins? He won't pardon him. Oh, his dad will pardon him. I know he said he won't, but his dad will pardon him. You know it's coming. Timothy Douglas, Trump is a true example of a true warrior. Club 1852 with a big one. Thank you very much. Great lineup at the rally tonight. Thanks for all you do. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your contributions. Stephen Anderson, God bless our President Donald J. Trump. Mr. Musk, Tulsi, RFK, Vivek, JD, God keep them safe, please. Dwayne Drewer, can you imagine the secrets Elon Musk knows? Absolutely. He's got all that data, all of it. I really do believe the election is over. Trump has it now. They're just fighting for the House and Senate. Joe Biden, I love your handle, bro. Oh, man, that's a handle. Should you have to pay property tax if your house is bought and paid for? You live in a country and you have your own well, your own septic, but you still want to have fire and police, don't you? It is what it is. Rebecca, thank you for everything you do. God bless you and your family. Thank you, Rebecca. Patriot Jojo, no income tax in Tennessee, low property taxes too. Sales tax is high though, but it's based on consumption, so that's different. Kurt Zerga, I love to watch Trump rally on your channel. Thank you very much. Terry Turbet, I'm Ontario, Canada. I pay 13% for tax, but free health care, also rebates. Love your show. Thank you very much. Scarlett Adams, I'm Haitian American, and Trump is my one and only vote. Make the world great again. Good for you. Chris Berry, please sing Proud to be an American for us. I want the full rendition with Midas howling in the background. Well, right now he's at my feet kind of knocked out, so he's not in a howling mood, and I can't sing. Joe Biden's other one. Do you think the government will try and shut down that interview before it's released? Rogan? No, they can't stop him. They can't stop him from releasing an interview. Joy Kirkland, love Trump in his spirit. I think the majority of people are sick and tired and that there's a lot of closet Republicans. There's a lot of closet Democrats, meaning they're Democrats, but they're not voting for Kamala. Nicholas Lamonicus, thanks again for the broadcast. Thank you for watching. Danny and Mary Lou, thank you. Greatest rally ever. Cobalt Gomez. McDonald Trump in the House. Chrissy Couch, we're tired of the Democrats voted today. Good for you. Edward Barton, Trump is America's president, and we the Patriots approve this message. Absolutely. Mr. Krabs, and he also worked at a McDonald's, unlike Harris, on top of everything else. Chrissy Couch again, Trump Patriots aren't woke. We have been awakened. Yes, agreed. Ripa, the Republican, make America great again. The Dems are destroying it. I don't even know how they can look themselves in the mirror and not realize what they've done to this country. Glenda Cruz, thank you. POS George Soros funding sellouts, Kamala and Newsom. If this guy can do what he wants for decade, not decades, but decade, why are you bitching at Elon Musk? I have no idea. Lindsay Mosley, she wasn't off yesterday. They ordered her and the general to sit and come up with all that evil plan. That probably was what they were working on. T-Mac, thank you. Dark Green Marine, thank you very much. October 3rd, this is the 41st anniversary of the first terror attack of Marine Barracks Beirut. Wow, I did not know that. All branches who lost brothers. Beirut, I didn't know that. Wow. John Parr, this Rogan stuff should have been done a month ago. Yeah, absolutely, I think so too. Tommy Radcliffe, the guitarist, our dream is coming true. I voted here in Northport. Don't let up. Vote November 3rd, and I'm have 2 more days of voting in Florida. Lock it in. Absolutely. BLS Doom Crew. Barry, I'll keep saying it. When Trump wins, the fight is not over. The Democrats will try and keep him from January 20th. Ain't that the truth? That's when the fight begins. New Jersey is flooded with Trump flags and signs, says Ripa. And Feathery says, thank you, Barry. Thank you, Feathery, for watching. Thank you, Barry and Robin, for anything, says Edward G. Barton. Elijah Araujo, thank you. Carol Clark, song Daddy's Home. Daddy's Home. Yeah, somebody's got to make a meme out of that. Thank you. And Melvin Blodgett, watch Kamala will not install him as president so they could use lethal force against the people. I don't know where this thing is headed. It's scary to think about. I just do our parts. If we do our part, then we'll let God sort out the rest. That's all we can do. Just make sure you vote. Bring your friends, family, co-workers. Get them to vote. And then, of course, let God finish it off for us. And protect these men and women. All right, so again, if you want to join our X group, just go to fanfareshop.org/group and we'd love to have you. Talk to you guys tomorrow afternoon. We got 2 again.